the Monday edition. The Riley Yauk and his Quill edition. The national championship game tonight, a national championship game on the women's side yesterday. Paige Beckers with a dominant performance in her final college game. What's better so far, the men's tournament or the women's tournament edition? And the lots of rave reviews for the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin commercial now that it's gotten wider airplay. And I would just like to publicly apologize for any Big Bird references that have been made toward Tausch. Not by me, but by other viewers. It's my fault that he wore yellow. I should have worn the yellow. He should have worn the green. But I don't think it takes away from the quality acting and production edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker. Not entirely sure where video is these days other than YouTube, so we'll get that squared away. And, of course, everything you need on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Riley Yauk, the aforementioned Riley Yauk, is in as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better, for Jesse in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. Hi, Riley.
Good morning.
Thanks for filling in. We appreciate your service.
Of course, happy to be here.
And from his undisclosed location, he's the star. Jack Black, by the way, was on SNL. Not that there was any sort of correlation between our commercial being released and Jack Black's appearance on SNL. He is the Packers Hall of Famer. He's Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I don't know. You look a little irritated with me.
No. Why would I be irritated with you?
I don't know. Did you get any further feedback on the commercial?
Do I ever hide the fact that I'd be irritated with you and not tell you that I'm irritated with you if I'm irritated with you?
No, that's fair.
No,
that's fair.
so.
You usually are very open about how irritated you are.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about how that is.
Okay, good. I'm glad to know that. Did you watch basketball at all this weekend? Did you watch the Final Four? Did you watch the Women's National Championship yesterday? Will you be tuning in tonight? Do you have prize picks for it? What's going on?
So I did watch Duke get beat, and I think I surprised some folks with my Duke take the other night that I wouldn't have been that mad. I'm not going to lie to you. It felt good to see Duke lose. I don't know. It's different. It's different with Coach K not being there, but then Coach K shows up, and he's wearing his blue sweater vest deal, and you just start – I felt better when they didn't. And so I because I was gone for a vast majority of the tournament, I've kind of, outside of Wisconsin, kind of almost played it out like a regular season.
Oh, no.
But last year I thought that the women's was markedly better. This year I think it flips back. I think I maybe palmed last year because of the Caitlin Clark effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the numbers. It was like 11 million with Caitlin last year. This year it's like 3. Mm-hmm. So UConn is back. It was a good win. But the overarching thing for me is don't try and justify changing your feelings on something. When you feel a certain way, don't try and salve, S-A-L-V-E.
Sure.
Salve.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Your feelings. So if Duke wins, that you kind of preemptively do it. Just embrace the fact you don't like Duke. Don't pull back from it. And that was the lesson I learned from the weekend, because that brought me more joy than it should. The fact that Duke ended up blowing that game.
So I'm glad you said that, because with Con Knipple, Wisconsin guy, his parents, obviously a lot of younger brothers who are coming up through Wisconsin Lutheran, is like I wanted to pull for him. And I feel like had he gone to any other school, I probably would have. But like I felt guilty after the game ended for how happy I felt that they collapsed. And like our buddy Sylvie, our teammate at ESPN 1000 in Chicago, I think he's good buddies with John Shire, who seems like a really likable
Nice guy,
as opposed to Coach K, who I found him sanctimonious. So I felt guilt for kind of reveling in, I mean, it was 67-61, and they lost 70-67. Like they were in control of the game, and then they weren't. Then I was happy about that, and I feel bad about how happy I was about that.
Yeah, I don't know if we should. I think it just again is a stark reminder that your feelings are how they are. Now that doesn't mean they can change. Like if your kid goes there, if something changes, but in the grand scheme of things, your feelings are how they are. And the Duke beating Wisconsin in 15, and I know we'll talk to Benny Brust a little bit about that later in this show. I'm not going to ever be a Duke fan, and I'm never going to apologize for Duke losing and me being happy about that. I'm just not. And so lesson learned for Old T.
Okay. And we'll talk about the ratings drop for the women's game in a minute. Riley, are you a Duke fan?
No, the exact opposite. And I also picked Houston to win the whole tournament in my bracket, so I was going nuts during that whole collapse. I was overjoyed. Also, one of my roommates was rooting for Duke. He loves Cooper Flagg, so that was just a little more reason to cheer against Duke. It was great. I loved it.
Okay. Well, apparently we're all in agreement, and only some of us were feeling guilty about it. You mentioned the women's game yesterday. We watched that. It was a close game until it wasn't, and then UConn ended up winning, going away in a big way. The numbers are not great, according to Front Office Sports. They dropped off 64% from last year. I guess two things. One, I saw a few people reference that the game should have been on in prime time, that might have helped instead of in the middle of Sunday afternoon, which
it didn't matter last year.
Yeah, and
last year it wasn't prime time.
And the second part is this should cement that Caitlin Clark was completely a meteor across the sky.
She's Tiger Woods. No, she's Tiger Woods. She did for the ladies' game what Tiger did for golf, and the only difference was that golf embraced Tiger and wanted to reap in those benefits, and it felt like, especially in the WNBA, that wasn't the case. And I hope that that lesson is learned business-wise from everybody else. It's not bad to have a monster star promoting your sport and bringing a lot of eyeballs in. That should be thanked and not berated or not celebrated. So I think that there's always lessons to be learned in everything, and I think she is a monster. She's a bigger star than I think even we thought when you see this, because UConn and South Carolina, you're talking about the two stalwarts.
Blue Bloods.
Those are your two big – that is the blue blood of the women's game, and it shouldn't be that big of a gap when it comes to numbers, but that just shows you how vital Caitlin Clark was to the whole operation. And I think the WNBA would be wise to embrace the heck out of that.
So as someone who wants to see the women's game grow, though, and as someone who has a daughter who loves to watch the games, especially the NCAA tournament games, not as much the WNBA games, so how should we view this? Because there is still growth in the game and the attention given to it and the ratings, but the reaction is going to be, right? It's going to be, oh, no Caitlin Clark, nobody cares about women's basketball. And it's still going to be, 4 million viewers. It's not like there was nobody tuned in, but it certainly pales in comparison to what they had for the championship last year.
Yeah, I don't know all of that. All I know is when you have a juggernaut, you make sure you hitch your wagon to that juggernaut, and then you hope the old rising tide lifts all boats deal that goes into play. And there's no doubt the women's game benefited greatly. And even if I'd love to see what those numbers were pre-Caitlin to compare to what yesterday was, because I'm sure they're still better because of what Caitlin did. So the women's game I thought was really rocket shipping off, and I think it still will. I think you have more star quality that will stay at the same school, which I think is always going to be a benefit, whereas that's not going to be the case in college men's basketball. You saw that with Wisconsin picking up 4 new
last
players.
Couple days.
It is going to be a lot harder to stay with, I guess, the brand of the school because the players are changing so rapidly. That won't happen in the women's game to the same degree, and that should allow them to kind of grow that thing out. But it'll be an interesting dynamic to watch the next 3 or 4 years as college sports continues to navigate all of this new paying players, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm not used to getting emails from UW men's basketball that are basically like the Packers free agent signing emails. It's very, very strange. Wisconsin has signed so-and-so, and he played here. Virginia, and this guy played here. He played at San Diego State. It's a different era for sure. It's also a different era for the draft. And no, I'm not talking about the NFL draft. I'm talking about drafty windows. And there's no draft with Pella.
There is no draft, and there has, as Jason mentioned, a lot of buzz about this commercial with me in my Big Bird outfit and Jason walking around, showing up late for the initial part of it. But there's a lot of buzz surrounding the draft. But you're not going to see that or anything seeping through Pella's windows and doors. In fact, you should make Pella your number 1 pick, because right now you can take advantage of no-interest financing options, or you can get free glass upgrades. Their talented designers and installers can match your unique home's decor through seamless customizations. Certain restrictions do apply, and this deal ends April 30th, so place your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
So can I ask you to tease us out? Or do you only tease us out when you have issued the edict?
First off, I have to know what I'm teasing.
Well,
which
so
I
you
don't.
said and Riley knows this. And with Riley, this is in no way a slight of you, okay? And when you hear it, it won't. I hope it doesn't even sound remotely like a slight.
It's going to be a
You did a great job on the wrestling coverage. So Jesse does a great job at the rundown. Now, Tausch doesn't read it, but it gives me a valuable guideline for if we don't know where we're going, I have a series of topics to go to. Now, in Riley's case, Riley hasn't. He's certainly Jesse's missed enough shows that he's produced before, but he sends out the text last night about, hey, if you guys got it, or it was actually in the afternoon, I think, right, Riley?
Yeah, I think around 3:30 or something, 4:30 something.
So I send back one of the longest text messages I've ever sent.
It was a litany,
right? With a lot of
topics, ideas in there.
But again. For those of you that have followed our show for a long time, there are instances where I bring things up, and they tend to fall flat because Tausch is the straw that stirs the drink. And so as part of his, I'm not slighting anybody, I told you I wasn't, part of his response was the question, are the Packers legit Super Bowl contenders? And it felt like a very general question, which I feel like we've covered a myriad of angles on that, but maybe not asked the specific question. So I am curious, and if you'd like to turn this into a tease, feel free. Otherwise, I'll just say more Wilde and Tausch straight ahead, stick around. But at any level, what caused this? Were you talking to some buddies who said, I don't like these guys' chances at all? Were you listening to the Saturday show on ESPN Madison? Riley, what are we calling that again?
Saturday Scramble.
Saturday Scramble.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a golf show.
With
a golf show?
With Alex Gravatt and Pablo Iglesias and Riley on the board.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear it? What prompted you to ask this very general question about the Green Bay Packers?
So I think it was Thursday or Friday last week. The unsportsmanlike crew with Evan and that whole team were going through Super Bowl contender or no, in essence. Different teams in the NFC and AFC. And there was one team that was absent of even being brought up in the conversation.
This sounds like a tease. I love it.
I'll tell you which team that is. We'll do that next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Well done.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets for the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone where you'll be taken care of like a first-round pick. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois. Age 21 years or older. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde? Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's #1 pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply and support 30/20/25.
Mark Tusher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison. Did you know that Wisconsin has a new, quick, and free online tax filing tool called IRS Direct File? Direct File is changing how people file their taxes and bringing more money into our state through the federal Earned Income Tax Credit and Child Tax Credit. File your federal and state taxes online directly with the IRS from your smartphone or computer. On average, file in less than 1 hour. Available in English and Spanish. Visit directfile.irs.gov to see if you're eligible. Sponsored by United Way of Wisconsin.
Drum roll, please!
Carbless is here with refreshing new flavors. Introducing their Tropical Bliss Variety Pack. Let the summertime flavors of blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, and grapefruit whisk you away from the winter blues. New flavors, same great Carbless perks. Every handcrafted cocktail still has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories. Find the Tropical Bliss Variety Pack in store wherever Carbless is sold and enjoy your winter passport to paradise. Grab a pack today and discover why less is more with Carbless.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today. We're on the Badgers.
There are moments where it feels like you're close, but taken holistically, those look like blips.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
To win a championship, you have to consistently be that team.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
so before we pay off Tausch's fantastic tease and learn the team that was not among the Super Bowl contenders on the list from...
It's going to be a real shock which team I'm going to bring up.
I can't believe they said the Bears.
You kind of bullied me into teasing.
I know I did.
I tease
and
when
I'm
I want
sorry.
to. You kind of bullied me into it.
I wanted to know the genesis of it because I certainly didn't want to just assume, like some people, that it was just a lazy question. That you just mailed it in.
That's fair.
Because I would never assume that about you. You always something is always an impetus for you.
Listen, if I'm going to mail it in, I just take the day off. Let's just be honest about that. I don't mail things in.
No, that's not how you behaved as a player. That's not how you behave on the show. But here's the reason I ask, and I think maybe a more existential question here that we need to come to grips with, you and I and maybe Packers fans, because the team is the Packers that wasn't on the list. Do we overvalue these guys? Because look, I would not put money. Not that I'm a big wagerer, but I would not pick them. I would not bet on them winning the Super Bowl this year. I am not that confident. But do I think they're in the conversation? Do I think that the way their defense played, and if Jordan Love makes the jump,
did you say 2 years ago that it was going to be this was the year they're going to win the Super Bowl?
I did. I did. And I thought they would have. I also thought they would have taken a bigger step yet last year than they did. The 11-6 record, not as sexy when it's 1-5 in the division and 0-6 against the three teams that had better records than them, if you include the playoff loss to the Eagles, who went on to win the Super Bowl, right? So I thought they would be further along heading into 2025 than they are, but that doesn't mean, not unlike the 2010 team, that you didn't show up at training camp saying, we're going to the Super Bowl. Did you? Or did you?
No.
I mean, Mike McCarthy had that empty frame thing.
That's true. I think there's always the hope and the idea, and then I know with Mike especially, it was always, let's get to 10 wins and then we'll talk.
Yeah,
like that was
win the division.
It was more about finding ways to win the division and chop it away. There was never and I think part of it too is, as Aaron Rodgers evolved into being the MVP candidate every year, expectations change too with that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
With Brett Favre, we always thought we were going to win. And I think by the time Aaron, after his first season, we saw enough there that there was that belief and that we thought if things fall your way, you'd be in position to do it. As far as, just assuming, there's probably 10 to 15 teams that know they have no chance. They'll still think that they do. And I think that's changed a little bit. And now I think it's narrowed down as far as who's a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and why I thought this was interesting because, I don't know if we overvalue. Obviously, people will say that we do, and I think Packer fans that are optimistic will always be told that you're looking at it through green and gold colored glasses, and that is a fair criticism. I try to make sure to check myself, especially when it comes to the third wideout and all of these other players that because we cover them and watch them on a daily basis and listen to every word that is said, think that they're the best thing. And I don't know who texted or called last week that made a really good point of what happened to the free agents that Green Bay didn't sign. Maybe just because Goody drafted them and they played for us doesn't mean that they're big-time NFL players.
That was a good point.
And I thought that was a good slap to the face of, And how many of those guys that we assume are going to take jumps, or potentially we want them to make jumps, are just going to be average to below average NFL players? I don't know the answer to that either. And I think we can all sit here and hope that a Lucas Van Ness emerges, and we saw a great video last week of him spin moving people.
Boy, was he crushing that guy with the mittens
just
on.
Getting after folks. And you're excited about it, but there is a chance that we overinflate things. So that's why I thought it was interesting. and I wanted to broach it because the Unsportsmanlike Crew, which Evan obviously is on our show weekly, he's on with Jim, Matt, and Molly, Wisconsin Ties, Michelle Smallman, big
Packers fan.
The fact that they weren't even broached, or at least the part, maybe I missed it, the part I watched, which was almost the full segment, nowhere to be found in the category. And that was interesting to me because locally we will have that conversation. From a national standpoint, is Green Bay not one of the top 3 teams in the NFC that you'd even bring that up? Because I certainly think they'd be top 4 at the lowest. And maybe this is a time where maybe I need to check myself before someone gets wrecked.
Tausch, who were the Super Bowl contenders that they brought up?
Check yourself
Ravens.
before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, there was the Ravens, the Lions. I don't know if Minnesota was in there. Obviously, the Eagles
Philly.
and the Chiefs were. I think they were kind of. I don't think. I'm trying to think if they put Washington in there, but it was not the Green Bay Packers in that equation. And my argument is, should Green Bay be considered a Super Bowl contender? My answer is a resounding yes. I'd love to hear from our fans and from you if you feel the same way. Because I do think, while not everybody is ecstatic about what Goody has done, and there's a lot of no urgency, none of this other stuff, there's a lot of moving parts on a lot of teams that I think people view as Super Bowl contenders. I would argue that Green Bay, from a stability standpoint, they're as stable, if not more so, than any team, changeover anyways, in the NFC, because of Philadelphia is going to have some change, but Philly should be the prohibitive favorite. And then I think the argument comes, who's jockeying? And I think Green Bay should be in that conversation for who's the jockey that's going to be trailing behind Philly as we get to the season.
I am texting our friend Evan Cohen just to confirm that the Packers were not on the list and ask who the other teams that are. But Kelsey in the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube comments, which I don't want to paint the YouTube comments in Milwaukee vis-a-vis Madison with a broad brush, but there's a sharper edge in Milwaukee. There's definitely a sharper edge to the commentary. Okay. And so Kelsey, talking about the Packers, 1-5 in the division, and everybody but Green Bay got better. Okay? Hey, look. Wonder how much covering these guys will do for Goody today. These two cover so hard for the Packers brass, it's actually pathetic. Now, here's the thing, Kelsey. I'm dealing with the possibility that I'm not, believe me, I don't think anybody would accuse me of covering for Goody or Mark Murphy. I think I get more. You
definitely have not.
I get more blowback.
I think it's very fair. Kelsey's argument to me is very fair. I don't necessarily say it's covering because I am disappointed that Davante Adams is not a Packer. I've been very clear about that. But am I a Goody stan? Absolutely. I have said that. I have no problem saying that. I think what he's done in his 7 years, revamping the roster and positioning it to win championships, has been really good. But I don't think anybody would argue that the Matt LaFleur part of this, I don't know anybody that's been more critical of some of the things Matt LaFleur's done. It's just my own opinion.
So I think Kelsey.
By the way, you really think that Detroit has gotten much better than what Green Bay is?
I don't.
Their
think
offensive
they have. I think
coordinator, they don't even know. You have no idea. There's a lot of uncertainty there. Now, is there talent? Absolutely, there is. But there's a lot of uncertainty, especially when you're talking about guys calling plays on both sides of the ball. Minnesota with a rookie quarterback? Come on now.
So
I feel like Kelsey's going on the opposite end of this, which is fine. I love it. I want more dialogue.
Right,
But
right.
I think there's an argument that you're either this is what happens, and I don't remember if it's a Rorschach or if it's
I love
Stone.
the Rorschach.
I can't.
Yeah.
Whatever that test
Rosetta
is, where
Stone?
You're going to continue to find arguments that will validate your point of view and not be open to others. And I don't want to be that person.
No, you're not.
I am
that person.
open to hearing things.
Yeah.
But I also want to make sure that we're not just because we're frustrated Devontae Adams isn't a Packer or that they haven't went out and picked up DK Metcalf or someone of that ilk. I'm not going to sit here and pout and cry about it.
So Eric Woodyard, who is the Rob Domofsky for the Lions for ESPN.com, his free agency tracker. So they signed DJ Reed, who was the top corner available in free agency, according to a lot of lists. But they also lost Carlton Davis, who actually got a bigger contract from the Patriots than Reed got from the Lions. So that at best is a push, right?
Well, we'll see.
Well, I mean, as of now, like if we're arguing everybody got better except the Packers, right now you have to grade that as a push. They brought back Marcus Davenport. They brought back Dan Skipper, their sixth offensive lineman who was coming in a lot of the time. They extended Ezekiel Turner. Like, there's nothing on here that you go, whoa, well, this is big, right? I mean, they brought back Tim Patrick, who had a big game against the Packers. What I'm saying is that I'm looking down their list, and there's nothing any sexier about their list than there is about the Packers. And to your point, they have lost both their coordinators, which may or may not, we will find out, were crucial to how good of a coach Dan Campbell is perceived as.
Mm-hmm.
The Minnesota Vikings, whatever you think about their dalliance with Aaron Rodgers, who still has not made up his mind on what his plans are, they are right now poised
Wednesday night he's going to announce at McAfee. I feel fairly confident. Continue.
They are poised as of now to start a first-year starter who did not only not play last year, he did not practice last year because he was on IR in J.J. McCarthy.
Yes.
So I'm not sure how much better they have gotten. They've got a good roster. There's no denying that. But Sam Darnold played pretty damn well for them, except for the 2 times he didn't. So I'm not sure how much better they are. I don't think the Packers upgraded significantly either. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think they added a guy that could be good as a guard, and they added a guy who they're projecting as being able to play outside even though he's only played inside his whole time. So I'm not overly confident that any of those 3 teams are meaningfully improved. And that's not my green and gold colored glasses. That's just how I view all 3 of those teams. And Chicago can improve however much they want, and they seem to have with some help on the offensive line. But the fact of the matter is that they're still Chicago. They still got a ways to go. So in the division, I don't feel like there's any difference, which the Packers finished behind the Lions and the Vikings. So if they get to still stay up there because of that, and then you've got the Eagles and you've got Washington that played in the NFC Championship game, fine. That's fine. Let's get some calls. Because I know there's talk that we only do calls on Mondays after games, but that's not true.
It's a Monday.
We take calls. It is Monday, too. So now that we've kind of framed this, and Kelsey...
So there's 2 questions I have, and I'll let you figure out what one you want to put out there. The one I brought up, which is, are they Super Bowl contenders? You can if you want, but I want to put this into the sphere, and then I'll let you and Riley and everybody else figure out which direction you want to go.
Yeah.
I believe they are Super Bowl contenders. Maybe Packer fans don't. And then the other one is, did Green Bay get better this offseason up till the 7th of April? Has Green Bay gotten better?
Good question.
And how would you answer before we ask everyone else?
I would say they are Super Bowl contenders. As far as have they gotten better? Yes. I don't know how you could say
not a lot, though, right?
I'm not saying but all I've said all offseason, and this is me, you want to say I'm being a Goody stan, whatever. They addressed what they felt was their biggest weakness, and that was the interior part of their O-line and not being able to protect and do what they needed. That is obviously, it's not about what they say. It's not about what fans think. It's about what Brian Gutekunst and his staff viewed, targeted, and went and acquired. You don't spend $19 million per year on an interior offensive lineman if you don't feel like you had a gaping hole. That's what they did. And whether or not that is not the sexiest thing, I get it. But when you do that and then you also bring in a corner that you feel like, but when you feel like if you can solidify that part of your team, that is going to take your offense to another level that it didn't have, you can't say that you don't at least feel like they've gotten a little bit better. Now, can you say they've gotten better on the defensive line and at, wide receiver? The answer is no. They have not. And then you just balance what that looks like, and that's why I don't think it moves the needle one way or the other much degree as far as we're sitting here before the draft happens.
All right, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. The two questions are these. Do you believe the Packers are legit Super Bowl contenders? And do you think the Packers improved so far this offseason? And if so, how much? Because I don't – if it's a yes or no question, I have to say yes. Because Aaron Banks, while he is not a Pro Bowl player, and as I have pointed out multiple times, had a lower Pro Football Focus grade than the left tackle that they are forcing to fight for his job again for. He is an upgrade over Josh Myers, and that is a direct correlation because Elton Jenkins now moves to center, where they believe he's an all-pro player. So that's one. I don't know enough about Nate Hobbs. I don't. The guys that left are Eric Stokes, Rochelle the musical, and half of the law firm, the Ballantyne half of Ballantyne and Valentine. And we still don't know what the future holds for Jair Alexander. So is adding Nate Hobbs an improvement? Sure. Is it a nominal improvement, a small improvement? Yeah. So how much do you think they've improved, if you think they've improved? 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That's the number. The carbless talk and text line list is more. Want to get your thoughts on these two topics. I hope we have explained these effectively, because I will allow that do you believe the Packers are Super Bowl contenders on its face does sound a little generic. But I think we've made ourselves clear. And I am having a come-to-Jesus moment here. I am having to seriously examine if I overestimate the Dontavion Wickses of the world and the Quay Walker, who I keep saying turned a corner before he got hurt in Seattle. I'm not the pom-pom guy, but maybe I am, and I don't know it. Maybe they haven't improved enough. Maybe they aren't Super Bowl contenders, and I've been living a lie. You can argue that when you call or text. 844-770-3776. In the meantime, I want to remind you that Associated Bank has been with us since the beginning, and they've been with the Packers since the beginning. That's the beauty of Associated Bank. Deep roots. It's not about branches when it comes to banks. It's about roots, and their roots are firmly planted in Wisconsin and in the Midwest. And if you want great customer service, there's no better place to get it from. You got early pay. Get access to your direct deposit up to 2 days early. You've got fraud protection and credit monitoring to make sure everything's squared away with that. My guy Ben takes care of my investments. Things aren't going so well right now, but I know he's looking out for my best interest. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
I'm the most guaranteed person you could take.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
Is he a lockdown corner? Is he an elite receiving entity?
Round 1 begins Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where Cheesy Bites Pizza is back right now. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
People travel the world to collect Hard Rock shirts, and Hard Rock Casino Rockford is going to give the people what they want. Get in on the action at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where all new Unity card signups receive an official Hard Rock shirt, plus free play to kickstart a winning streak. Whether you're spinning the slots or playing the tables, you'll be dressed for success. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's Hard Rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Madison's financial challenges need a Dane County-based bank. Starion Bank is a full-service community bank that delivers quality big bank services with a local approach. We are proud to be there for any budding entrepreneur or small businesses, helping them exceed their financial goals from banking to lending to cash management. Visit a banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, taking you farther.
You remember the moments from that magical March.
Side Decker, it's a 3. Got it!
On June 26th, celebrate the squad with Made 'em Believe. A special night with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker.
Here's Kaminsky, the drop stab, that's his favorite. And the 2.
Presented by Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Potosi Varsity Ale, and Potosi Hard Seltzer. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe. June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
As a fellow veteran, we understand what it means to serve on a team. A suicide on a team is devastating and a real risk for veterans. If you or someone you know is struggling, reach out now. Reach out WIS.org for local resources available to you and your loved ones.
Paid for by Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment with support by the Medical College of Wisconsin, the War Memorial Center, and reachoutwis.org.
Welcome. The 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Give him hell, time to hate. Gonna live life till we're dead. Give me scars, give me pain. Then they'll say me, say me,
6 is the Carbless talk and text line. Again, 844-770-3776. I do want to emphasize, like, I hope it's clear that we're open-minded on this, because I did take Kelsey's remark to heart. I don't think we cover for them. Kelsey's entitled to that opinion, but I am more concerned that I don't see their flaws as clearly. I feel like at one point in my career, I was the other direction. I saw more flaws because I watched them closely. And maybe now, maybe I'm not seeing them as clearly. Maybe I'm caught up in it's a young man's game and you got to let him grow and all this other stuff. And maybe covering veteran teams, I had a different attitude. And maybe I need to reevaluate that. So I'm glad we're doing this topic today. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and Text line. Let's get started with Brandon in Tulsa. Brandon, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How are you, buddy?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Good to talk to you. Been a while. Took my wife to Chicago this last week for vacation, so I wasn't able to listen live to your show.
Well, I feel like your priorities are questionable.
Yeah, she said, Brayden, no one else wants to listen to that while we're getting ready in the morning to go do our stuff. So I turned it off and kept it off until we got back on the plane. So,
well, you can always catch up on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app.
Right.
Mrs. Brandon. I think we need to have a conference. We need to convert Mrs. Brandon is what we need to do. But that's
an intervention.
A story for another day.
Brandon, what do you think of this Packers team? Are they legit Super Bowl contenders, and how much, if any, did they improve this offseason?
Okay, so before Goody made his statements about urgency, I was thinking this was the year Jordan had his kind of sophomore hiccup with health and, decision-making. But then when he goes and has the off-season of, basically supplementing, not improving some positions, just supplementing it, it kind of really got me questioning what he's doing. And when I was catching up on the show from last week, Tausch, every time it seems like you get into an argument with somebody like Goody, you always bring up how he rebuilt the roster when he got the job in 2018. And Jason, did he sign Preston and Zadarius and Adrian in 2019, or was that 2018?
No, it was 2019. It was after that disastrous 2018 season.
Yeah, okay. So 2019, he signs those three guys to the defense. And I know Matt LaFleur and Rodgers kind of took a year to mold and figure each other out, and then they exploded in 20 and 21. And I started looking at the teams, and Tausch, I don't think it's fair to say that he rebuilt the roster, because if you were to go back and look at those teams and pick the five best Packers on them, I would argue most of them are still Ted Thompson guys. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae, David Bakhtiari, Aaron Jones. These were all guys that Ted picked and Goody inherited. I would say that the biggest difference between what we saw from Rodgers in 2018 and 19 and what we saw from Rodgers and the guys in 2020, 2021 was Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur's offensive scheme, the way he approached Aaron, the way he coached the team, had a bigger difference on that record and where they were at versus Goody rebuilding a roster. I don't think he brought that many new guys in. And I would say that his most successful years as the GM were his early years where the team was still filled with a bunch of talent from Ted. And the last 3 years of this team has been like basically all Goody guys. And I can't help but acknowledge that they're not as good as they used to be. Now that he's rostered these guys top to bottom, special teams, defense, offense, with his picks, his players, his signings, something's changed. The coach has not. Matt LaFleur hasn't changed. The only other thing that I can see that's changed is the talent that's been given to Matt. And so when I look at his comments of we need to have a sense of urgency, we need to start chasing championships, and then he basically says, oh, by the way, I'm not changing one bit of what I do, I don't know how I can see them as contenders this year. The defensive backfield isn't better. I'm not going to say it's worse because Jair's still here, but it's not better. The edge rush, the D-line as an entirety is not better. I'm not going to say it's worse, but it's not better. And so when you look at these things, I just don't see how they can be contenders. Let's say everyone else stays the same in the NFC North. No one improves. That still puts us third in the division. So as a guy who thought Goody's done a good job of managing the team, because I didn't like the way Aaron ran roughshod over the organization, and I appreciated Goody saying, look, this is our team. You can either give it the program or get out of here. I can't help but feel like Goody's just not bringing in the same level of talent that Ron did and Ted did, because if that was the case, we wouldn't be talking about going 1-5 in the division, and we wouldn't be wondering if they're a Super Bowl contender. We would know, hey man, if Jordan's healthy, we've seen enough to know this guy can win the championship, but that's just not. It's not where we're at. So I've had to walk back my praise of Goody because his successful years, most successful years, looks like when he had a bunch of guys that Ted brought in, and as they have all filtered out, the team has only gotten worse. That's my take.
Thanks for the call, Brandon.
Before you go, I it's hard for me with the draft picks part of this, but Ted didn't dabble in the free agent other than Julius and Charles way back. But Goody has done it differently, and of every high-priced first or second day free agent that he's brought in, they've been very good additions to this roster. So I get it, and I think you brought up some good points that I think we have to look at. But you have to remember, we lost to a 1-10 team. Yeah, 1-10 team against the Cardinals. That snowy, cold, blah, blah, blah day. And for him to go from there, firing a coach, and yes, maybe we have to acknowledge that Matt LaFleur was a bigger difference maker, replacing Mike, than bringing those 4 veterans in and what they did. Yeah. But they did change it, and they did make an NFC championship game right out of the gates with Goody. All right, what do you got, Brandon?
Right, okay, so I'll say this. Do you think it's harder as a GM to draft a guy and be right on him, or to sign a guy that another GM identified and didn't want to pay but has proven to be a really good player? I think Goody's done a good job in free agency because he's had to. He's missed on enough picks. He has to use free agency in a way that Ted Thompson didn't. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like Ted didn't use free agency a whole lot because he's like, well, the guys I pick are all studs. We just keep our dudes. Goody has been forced to sign free agents because too many of his guys have been whiffs, whether it's our center. You know me, I'm an OU guy. I still kills me they didn't sign or pick Creed Humphrey. Mm-hmm. So when Goody uses free agency, it seems to be more out of, well, I have to do this because I'm missing on guys, versus, hey, I'm hitting my draft picks and I'm also supplementing with free agency guys. So I don't know. I think it's easier to say, yep, that's a good player. I'll sign him because he's been in the league 4 years and he's proven he can do it. That's easier than drafting a dude and being right on what you evaluated him on out of college.
Great call, Brandon. We appreciate it. So I want to follow up on what
Glad
Brandon's
back in Oklahoma and listening to
the show. Yeah,
we missed you. I have to. I think there's some. Brandon brought up a couple of really good points there. The concept of not picking up free agents because you have your guys. Well, what did everybody say about Ted? You still got to go out and pick up a couple of guys. You still don't care how great your drafts are. At some point, you do got to sprinkle in free agents. Ted has not, or Goody has not every year picked up a bunch of. He has been, I think, pretty surgical with how he's approached free agency. Now, if you want to say he has not had the same impact first and second round picks that Ted Thompson had, I can't argue with that. The facts are Ted picked up B.J. Raji and Clay Matthews, and we don't win a Super Bowl without those two guys.
In fairness to Goody also, some of those free agent pickups were because he had to fill holes in the roster that were left because of the trail off in talent acquisition toward the end of Ted's tenure. Sure. Okay, so
no doubt about that.
To be fair. Now, I have in front of me the 2019 Packers starters. And to Brandon's point, the starters on that team that went to the NFC Championship game that were acquired by Goody, MVS, Jimmy Graham slash Mercedes Lewis, but Mercedes Lewis was actually acquired by Ted in his last year. I think 17 was his first year. I have to double check that. But either way, Jimmy Graham. Elton Jenkins was a draft pick.
Yeah.
Rookie draft pick.
All right, Goody.
And Billy Turner on offense.
Yes.
On defense, Tyler Lancaster, undrafted free agent from Northwestern.
Stout defensive tackle, yep.
Preston Smith.
He was pretty good.
I didn't even remember this guy. The other inside linebacker was a guy named B.J. Goodson.
Goody.
Not to be confused with old Meech Goodson, who was a corner that they had for a number of years.
Wasn't there a running back Goodson, too?
No, it's Whisper Goodman.
That was Goodman. But no, wasn't there an Iowa guy, Goodson?
Yeah, I think. I'll have to double-check that, too. Zadarius Smith. Jair Alexander. He drafted him.
Good pick. Till it wasn't.
Adrian Amos signed him. And Darnell Savage, who started as a rookie, too.
Tausch, the running back you're looking for, Tyler Goodson out of Iowa.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
He ended up with Indianapolis, I think, last year.
Yep.
Had some production for the Packers, and then they moved on from him. So there was a sprinkling, as you might say, of draft picks that played for that team right away, and the free agents that he signed, obviously. But the studs of that team were pre-existing. He didn't tear it down to the foundation. So, for what that's worth. All right, we'll take more of your calls. 844-770.
On defense, no. I would disagree with you on that. Kenny Clark, and that was about it. Everything else was brought in.
I mean, you can
vast majority.
if you want to disrespect Dean Lowry and Blake Martinez.
There isn't any disrespect. King. It's just that, and in fairness, they gave up 500 yards rushing in that championship game. So it's probably not an argument, a hill I want to die
on. No, you don't. But what you do want to do is get ready for the NFL draft. I know you're excited. Everything is starting to look a lot like draft time. They're building the stage. I saw that yesterday as I drove around town, and you could be a part of it. Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone where you'll be taken care of like a first-round pick. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Here's all you got to do. Go to your select Wisconsin Verizon locations by April 13th. That is next Sunday. So you got a week. If you want to get entered, it's a fun thing that they're doing. It'll be a great opportunity for you with the draft. So again, swing by your local Verizon dealer before April 13th and get entered. More Wilde and Tausch, more of your thoughts next. So stick around.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN. You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Wisconsin men's basketball came a win shy of the Sweet 16, but Nolan Winter seeing positives from this season's ride. The sophomore forward on the memorable year during his appearance on the Jump Around Digital Show.
I had a blast, and I think most people would say this is one of the more enjoyable years that they've had playing basketball. If it comes from the coaches to the players, everyone kind of brought their own sense of humor and the sense of just calmness. And, we knew how to have fun in the locker room. To me, that was a big part of the season. And, no, it was a blast. Every one of these dudes, like brothers for life. That's what we always say. It was so much fun.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust. Well, the new baseball season is in full swing. Basketball's postseason about to get underway, and Green Bay is ready to host the draft. It is such an exciting time to think about all the big things happening in Wisconsin sports. Maybe it's also time for you to start thinking about an exciting new vehicle. Well, if that's the case, start your search with Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Stop by the dealership on Main Street in Sun Prairie to check out their full inventory of new and used vehicles. Or make it even easier by starting your search online at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. And if you're not in the market for a new vehicle but want to make sure yours feels as new as the day you drove it off the lot, get a tune-up with Zimbrick Chevy's amazing service team. Stop into Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie and discover this great automotive team that I've been telling you about for years. Consistently recognized as a best of Madison operation, Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie is the name you can trust.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
Outdoor Living Unlimited's showroom on Stoughton Road is absolutely a must-see. Nobody builds a better backyard better than Outdoor Living Unlimited. New deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, fire pit, and in-ground pool. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's leader in building the new deck. Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech decking installer. Looking for a backyard hardscape design? Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited's amazing Madison showroom. Visit our open house on Saturday, April 19th from 9 to 1 p.m. and meet the team, or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. If you're looking for a place where you can better yourself while having a wonderful atmosphere, you have it at the Princeton Club. Strong communities, strong body, and strong mind. All it takes is one small step to start today. You will see that you have everything you need in order to achieve all of your goals. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 8 Madison locations where you go in there, you take a tour, and you realize this is a place for me. Find more at PrincetonClub.net.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities. Plus, membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
I'm not afraid of getting older. I'm one less day from dying young. I see the light go past my shoulder. I'm one less day.
All right, we're late as usual, but I don't want to make Isaiah in California, where it is 8:04 a.m. And what time does that make it in Tokyo?
Oof, I don't know.
Midnight, 12:04 a.m. tomorrow across the international date line?
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds about right.
I don't want to make Isaiah wait, so we'll get to more of your calls. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Again, the two questions we're asking. Do you believe the Packers are legit Super Bowl contenders, and did the Packers improve this offseason? If so, how much? Those are our questions for you. Those are our questions for Isaiah in California. Isaiah, good morning. Thanks for holding on. Sorry to make you wait.
Hey, good morning. It's okay. I was going to wait. It's okay, Packer fans, huge fan. But the first question about them being legit contenders, I would say that they're contenders, but when it comes down to legit contenders, I would have to say no, because when it comes down to other teams that I think of, and you guys seen how we had to play the Eagles twice, we had to play the Lions twice, we had to play the Vikings twice, but not only them, but we also had to play the Bears. We all know the Bears suck, but they bothered us last year.
Sucked a little less, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. And so not though just our rival team, but when you look at the Rams, they got better. And y'all see they got Devontae. So the Rams got better. We have to get better, but my whole thing is we don't know exactly how we're going to be it because the draft haven't came, and there's certain, you guys know, the interior defensive line we need. There's still the receiver group that we need help with. So we don't know exactly how it's going to be when it comes down to our end, because there's a lot that we need help on as well. So I couldn't say that we're going to be legit Super Bowl contenders. I just couldn't say that on my end when it comes down to it. And I love what they did on offense when it comes down to getting a new group on the offensive line. I love what they did on that, especially with Josh Myers. I'm not going to say that he was bad because he was a hustler. He stayed on the field and did what he needed to do. But I believe that was an upgrade for us, especially how they switched and moved it around for us. And it's going to be a fight down there at tackle. And I was thinking about it. I was just saying, when have we had a fight for the offensive tackle? It hasn't been like that for a minute. So, I mean, I just couldn't say, when it comes down to the question, I just couldn't say we're legit Super Bowl contenders. I would say we still need some more help. Somebody else has to come in and help us, either at that receiver group or at that defense. And also on that, something I thought about was we had people, rookies last year that should have been playing. And who know how that would have came out to if they were playing, like Tyrone as a linebacker. So who knows how that would have came out to? So it's a lot of things that kind of shaky there.
So, Isaiah, I would argue that, and awesome call, we appreciate it. And I think this draft is very deep on the interior of the defensive line, so I think they'll get the help you're looking for there. Wide receiver, I'm not so sure about. But Tyron Hopper, look, the guys that played instead of Tyron Hopper played pretty well. Like, you can say what you want about Eric Wilson, but he earned himself some money going back to the Vikings. He played pretty well. Isaiah McDuffie, they thought, was more prepared. I'm curious to see what Tyron Hopper does this season and where he's going to fit into their jigsaw puzzle. The point that I thought Isaiah made that was worthwhile, though, is, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, is this left tackle competition. Now, as you know, I love to double dip, and I used Brian Bulaga's insights from last week in a lengthy story on channel3000.com. But when Isaiah says, I don't know the last time, it's been a minute since there was a competition at left tackle, yeah, but that's kind of not what you want, right? Like, you don't want there to be a competition. You want to know, hey, my guy's so good, we don't need competition. Right?
Yeah, that in an ideal world, you want to have things solidified. You want to continue to push, have guys kind of be on edge in the competition of winning a spot and making sure there's no complacency. But, yeah, you want your guys, like, you want to have Zach Tom. You don't want to have, it could be one of three guys. Like, You want that guy. And I think, whether or not that's how it's going to shake out or not, you want to have competition everywhere, but you want to have a solidified five so that you can start working on that chemistry and everything else so that your group can get better and better and you feel great heading into that opening weekend.
All right, we've got more than a few responses in the YouTube comments. I know Riley is compiling our text messages from the text portion of the Carbless Talk and Text line. But before any of that, before we can start the 10 o'clock hour, Tausch needs to tell us about AmFam.
American Family Insurance, proud sponsor of Wilde and Tausch from the jump. And for almost 100 years, they have been committed to making life better with the right home and auto protection, all so that you're free to enjoy your dreams. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance.
Some interesting responses on social media as well. We'll get to those. We'll kick off the 10 o'clock hour late as usual in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Kelly Sheffield, Wisconsin Badgers volleyball head coach. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. If you went to bed early last night, you may have missed it, but the transfer portal never sleeps, as at about 9:30 p.m. Sunday, Greg Gard and company landed another top recruit for the Badgers. This time around, it's Nick Boyd from San Diego State, who led the team in scoring and was an all-Mountain West selection last season. On the professional circuit, the Bucks knocked off the Pelicans last night, 111-107, to improve their hold on the 5 seed in the East. And in baseball, the Brewers throttled the Reds 8-2 on the back of Jackson Churrio's 2-homer, 5 RBI day, and rookie pitcher Chad Patrick's sterling start. As aside from Freddie Peralta, every single planned starter for Milwaukee is on the IL, which is why, just minutes ago, the Brewers traded their number 7 prospect, outfielder Yoferi Rodriguez, to the Red Sox for right-handed pitcher Quinn Priester, who will be in the big leagues for the Crew.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. We will get back to the Packers, but being that it's our job to inform, we do have some breaking news. If you were listening to Riley's outstanding Sports Center at the top of the hour, you already know this on ESPN Madison, but the Brewers have acquired a pitcher, and Lord knows they need him, as all of their would-be starting pitchers other than Freddie Peralta are on the injured list currently. And they still won yesterday. Who's the Patrick? Who was the pitcher yesterday?
Yeah, Chad Patrick.
Nice W for them. Nothing to panic about, even though they started 0-4. They've acquired Quinn Priester from the Red Sox, and they gave up one of their top prospects, and I'm going to inaccurately pronounce his name, I'm sure, Yoferi Rodriguez. And Priester will join the Major League Club immediately. So they need some help there. He was a first-round pick by the Pirates in 2019. So they have another pitcher to add to their mix this morning with a trade going down. That is per Adam McKelvey.
Sounds like some urgency
of MLB.
From the Brew Crew. A little urgency from Matt Arnold.
So, and I know that's a pretty good line there, old T. You're not as bothered by that as I am, right? Like I felt kind of, and I think I would say this to Goody if I bumped into him at Lambeau Field. I was like, when you say urgency, and then when people ask you about it at the NFL meetings, and you make it clear that you weren't talking about yourself, you were talking about the players. I don't know about that, Jim. Am I wrong? Am I being too harsh?
No, you can be however you want. Yeah. I
want you to tell me if you think I am. Like I know. I don't love the them thing as opposed to us thing. We need to be
very clear with you last week that I thought you were making a mountain out of a molehill on that. But you have every right to do it, and I think fans are looking at it and saying, "Well, you want urgency." you need to be more urgent with your talent acquisition. I think it's a fair criticism. Even though he did pick up 2 relatively high-priced free agents along the way, and the draft is still 2.5 weeks away, I get it. But as far as he's speaking to his players, he's speaking to his coaches and saying, what we did last year wasn't good enough. I just, as Riley was doing the Sports Center, I was thinking about this whole concept of being a Super Bowl contender or not. And what kind of came across my head was when you asked me, did we feel like we were Super Bowl contenders in 2010, in 2007? And I said in 2010 we felt like, if things went our way, we could win a championship. We didn't probably feel that way in 2008 if we were being honest about it. But really what that is more of a referendum on your quarterback.
Good point.
Because there was not a year. Now, I came in wide-eyed and young and scrappy in 2000.
Clueless.
And there was not a doubt. My man, we got Brett Blank and Favre. We could win every blanking game. And then once Aaron Rodgers kind of settled in, I felt the same way about Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
And I can assure you, Brian Bulaga and everybody in that roster from 2011 on until he left town felt that same way. And now I'm starting to get the vibe that Packer fans, and again, quarterback isn't the end-all be-all, but it certainly is a big
vital piece
component. Mm-hmm. And the fact that fans don't feel that way, is it really about Goody and you're not picking up like a second wideout or a good solid edge rush guy in free agency? Or is it more about what we saw from Jordan last year? Because the big reason why everybody's optimism was so high last offseason was because of what Jordan did in the back end of that season. And the fact that Jordan wasn't consistent last year and didn't really play a great four-quarter game, is that doubt what is leading us to doubt that this team can't win? That's what my mind went to over the break.
Yes. And, of course, Goody does factor into that, right? It's his quarterback. But you're right. Referendum is a great word. And we felt, I shouldn't say we, I would say some, myself included, felt differently about Jordan Love at this time last year than we feel about him this year at this time. Now, there's a faction that would say, well, he was injured last year, and that's why he didn't make as big of a jump as you expected. And that's fair, and maybe you're right. Even in spite of that, though, I think it's fair to say, and I would love for Matt LaFleur to say on the record whether he feels like he made as big of a jump as he should have. Now, he's not going to. He's not. But I think that down deep inside, Matt would probably admit that he needed to make a bigger jump than he did. And so we feel a little differently about him. We have crowner's remorse, right? We feel like we maybe crowned him prematurely. And now he's got a prove-it year ahead of him. And if he takes what he did to finish 23 and then plays like that for most of the 25 season, then we can go back to crowning him. But I feel like we still have the crown, but we've now taken it, we handed it to him, we took it back, we put it back in the box. And then maybe we'll put it on him at the end of the season. But it is a critical moment for him. There's no doubt about that.
I just feel like the reason that Packer fans have felt a certain way for a certain amount of years is because of a monster belief in their quarterback. It wasn't when Ted Thompson didn't go and pick up a bunch of wideouts. Did we say in 2016 the Packers can't win a championship? No, we didn't.
You're right.
And the only time would have probably been 2019 in the first year. But even then, I think there was let's just stay afloat till Aaron and LaFleur figured things out. And then, as that season was progressing, San Fran was the prohibitive favorite, but there wasn't anybody saying we weren't Super Bowl contenders. And now this is the first time that I feel like, because it's not just one or two people. I would argue if we polled that, it would be on the opposite end. I'd be in the minority thinking that we are Super Bowl contenders.
I bet.
And I think it's not because Goody didn't pick up Devontae Adams. I think it's the deeper part that people don't want to talk about. It's that they don't know if we got our guy. I believe in Jordan Love, and I think most Packer fans believe, but it's how strongly do they believe? And that's what sways you whether or not you're winning a championship or not. Because Kansas City could have Brett Veach, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, everybody else, but if they don't have Patrick Mahomes, matter of fact, they get rid of half their team, and everybody there's still, yep. No, I'm not trying to say but Josh Allen, yep. And maybe the reason that Unsportsmanlike didn't put Green Bay in that equation is because they don't look at Jordan Love as a top 5 or 10 quarterback. They look at Jordan Love as a top 15 or 20. And if they didn't, they'd put him in there. Maybe that's the reason.
You are a smart guy. You are. And not only because that's a really smart opinion, but because now you've joined me and become a UW Credit Union member. Another example of how smart you are.
Old T here for UW Credit Union, and for every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach your financial goals. People ask me, T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Well, yep. Is it that member-first service? Well, abso-blank-and-lutely. Great perks like early payday? Yep. But honestly, it's Bucky. Can't say no to that cute little son of a gun. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like I did. It's federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
2 quick questions. One, next time, when you say people ask me, Old T, can I chime in with, Old T, why did you become a UW Credit Union member like me?
Sure.
And then 2, is it in the copy that Bucky is that cute little son of a gun? Is that in there, or is that an ad-lib?
That's an ad-lib.
Okay.
That's an ad-lib.
He's a cute rodent.
Pro's pro.
All right. Well done. 844-770-3776. We will take more of your thoughts. We're going to talk to Ben Brust coming up. He's got a couple of things going on. We want to get his insight, too, on the Badgers' transfer portal work. But to Tausch's point, is your belief in Jordan Love wavered to some degree, which is causing you to question the legitimacy of them as Super Bowl contenders? We'll explore that further.
We're using Goody as that vacuum. That's
He's
what I
a
think is
stand.
happening.
He's a stand-in.
A straw man.
Yeah, nicely done. Dynamite drop in, Riley. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde?
Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's #1 pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 4/30/2025.
Mark Tusher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Dear Brewers fans, where do you find the best views and the most electrifying baseball action American Family Field has to offer? The answer is Toyota Territory, located in right field. This Grand Slam experience covers all the bases and gives fans in the stands an exclusive live look at our home run hitter, the Toyota Land Cruiser. Creating a lasting legacy, the Toyota Land Cruiser is seasoned to perform like your Milwaukee Brewers. Add Toyota to your lineup today. Now batting, Toyota.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
Get ready, Madison. The Packers Tailgate Tour rolls back into town on Wednesday, April 9th. Hey, it's Molly Brown from Jim, Matt, and Molly. Join us in supporting Dairyland Sports, a Madison-based nonprofit improving access to sports, fitness, and recreation for individuals with physical disabilities in Wisconsin. Learn more and support the cause at dairylandsports.org/Packers Tailgate. And stay tuned to ESPN Madison for your chance to win VIP tickets to the Packers Tailgate Tour. Sponsored by Visit Verona, Paul's Party, and ESPN Madison.
We're on the Packers.
You still want to see that steady play, that steady improvement, and you didn't get it from Jordan Love?
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
That just makes the stakes that much higher this season.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Do you believe in love? Do you believe it's true? Do you believe in love? Oh, you're making me believe it too. Now the feeling is beginning to grow and the meaning
Outstanding work by our young fella, Riley Yauk, tracking down one of the all-time great 80s bands, Huey Lewis and the News. Do you believe in love? What did we call that? A classic?
Yes.
It's a classic.
One of the classics. You asked me if I've heard of this song before. Of course I've heard of this song. It's a classic.
Love Huey Lewis.
Riley's kind of an old soul, too. Aren't you kind of an old soul?
Yeah, I would
Still
agree.
writing letters.
I would agree, yeah. Big Randy Travis
Any
fan
updates
for all
on
my...
any of that? What do we got? What do we got brewing on the lady front, youngster?
Well, went on a date on Friday night in Milwaukee. It was a great time.
Okay.
However...
road game.
Yeah, I know, right? Great date. Fantastic date. However, I got my debit card stolen and had $250 drained from my bank account. Someone spent a lot of money on drinks with my dime, which was highly unfortunate. So I got to work on getting that back right after the show today.
Riley, I don't want to tell you how to go. I'm certainly not going to tell you about your dating. But when it comes to topics for this show, that is where today's show should have begun.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep that in mind for the future.
We will circle back to that in Woe Riley, because I'm going to need more details for sure.
All right.
And I'm sorry I don't want to tell you where to bank, but I hope that you have a bank that maybe, or a credit union that gets mentioned on the show, one or the other, that really looks out for you when something like this happens.
Hey,
so I hope you can get things resolved.
Let's just say if they don't get resolved, I might have Bucky on my card pretty darn soon.
Better late than never, that cute rascal. All right, so I do want to get to one point from Twitter because then we're going to get to Ben Brust, who's going to join us coming up. Charlie on Twitter responds to our question. If Love gets back to playing like he did the second half of 23, yes, they're a Super Bowl contender. My question is, was that an aberration? I don't think it was an aberration. I don't. I think it was a hot streak for sure. I think he's that good. Can he be that good consistently over the majority of 17 games? I think is a legitimate question. Agree or disagree?
Totally agree. I think you have to factor in, and this isn't excuse making, but you do have to factor in injury and drops as a big component to maybe some of the issues that we saw last year, consistency-wise, and getting, and I think Jordan not running as much was a big piece to that too. So I'm looking forward to seeing him healthy and fresh and ready to go, and with from a scheme standpoint, maybe doing some things to make things a little bit easier for him. But yeah, Jordan Love, if this team is going to be a Super Bowl contender, he needs to be the best player on offense. It can't be Josh Jacobs or Tucker Kraft. It's got to be him. And if that is the case, Super Bowl contender, yeah. And if it's not, then we're probably having the same conversation. Well, they're good, but they're not good enough.
Before we get to Ben Brust, Tausch needs to tell us about Coors Light, which is always good enough when it's cold and refreshing for him.
And Coors Light brewed with that three-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill. Born in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado in 1978, Coors Light is refreshing, it is crisp, and it is only 102 calories. That's why it is always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Make 'em believe, the event that is coming to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Badgers National Championship finalist team that Ben Brust was on, is coming up, and Ben's going to tell us more about that event, and he's going to give us his insights into the Badgers transfer portal additions. He's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Brewers baseball is back.
Bunting it up the first baseline. It's a good bunt. Racing home is done. He will score. Bryce Terrain gets the job done.
Hear the sound of summer right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball. This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities. Plus, membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
The sound of summer is on ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Get up. Get out of here. Gone.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by J&K Security Solutions and Revive Restoration.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi Mini Can. Mini Can, big taste.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
We're on the Packers.
If they're not better this year,
because we're on Wisconsin sports,
there's going to be a lot of seats warming up.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Why do you build me up, buttercup, baby, just to let me down, and mess me around, and then worst of all, you never thought, baby, when you see you will, but I love you still, I need you. More than anyone, darling, you know that I am from the start. So build me up, buttercup, don't break my heart. I'll be over.
I didn't know this was Ben's walk-up music. Does Ben have walk-up music? He should, although he's not. I don't know how often he's even on this show, so what am I talking about? Here to talk about the groupthink on his program, KBN. Or maybe to talk about Make 'em Believe, the event that's coming.
It's made them believe. It's past tense.
That's true. Made them. They did they made them believe. On June 26th, tickets on sale right now, uwhoops2015.com. That's uwhoops2015.com at the Orpheum Theater in Madison on June 26th. It is Ben Brust, host of KBN across ESPN Wisconsin. Benny Buckets, how are you?
Doing well. I would say if I had a walk-up song, it would always be Walking on Broken Glass by Annie Lennox. And yeah, very excited for June 26th at the Orpheum. Over the winter time, there was a 2014 and 15 combined reunion right before the Arizona basketball game, which kind of jump-started the Badgers season. It scored 100-plus points, and a lot of us teammates were wondering where the defense was, but they were an offensive team last year, averaging 80-plus points. So it was good to get together with a lot of guys, but what's really cool about doing a live event in June is there are a lot of players still overseas currently as we speak, playing professionally. Sam Decker working on making sure if Nigel Hayes' season doesn't go too long, trying to get as many people. But we have confirmed Sam Decker, Josh Gosser, National Player of the Year Frank Kaminsky of 2015, Bo Ryan, and many others will be in attendance. And so what I think is really unique about this particular event is getting all of those guys together. And although I wasn't on the 2015 Final Four team, it's very easy to, addition by subtraction. And as you saw this team capture the hearts of not just Wisconsin, but I think like nationally, people loved all the things with Nigel Hayes and is it a stenographer that he was like thought was cute?
She was taking down all the quotes. Stenographer,
yeah.
Good.
And like that was a viral clip, and so I think getting all those guys together to relive not just the on the court stuff that I know people love, but they were really beloved off the court, and so bringing those stories out will be my job to stay out of the way, believe it or not, as the host of the Made 'em Believe UWHoops2015.com to get your tickets today.
You staying out of the way.
Can you see a team like that in today's day and age? Is this ever going to be replicated unless things change? Because I can't imagine you're going to see a Frank Kaminsky develop and grow like that, and Gosser. It's not. Can it happen? Can we see something like that happen in today's climate of college basketball?
It's a great question. The answer is no until there's some sort of salary cap or regulations, because we're all texting about it right now. We all are hearing what some of these numbers are for some players that really don't even have the resumes that some of the players that I played with did, and how much money that they are getting. Because if we're being honest, it's not NIL. This isn't NIL. This is just paying players. It's really what it is. Mm-hmm. The NIL is just a term to sort of cover up the idea of, all right, if you're gonna, there's numbers. I'm hearing like there's numbers. I want this if I'm gonna stay.
What are you hearing?
I wish I could share that. But I will say,
you're a journalist.
Why can't
the
Packers are going to Ireland.
And as I've learned, I have to protect my sources, otherwise I won't be able to break news in the future.
Don't tell us who
you can say unnamed players make an X. Yeah, you don't have to tell us who and where you got it from.
I can't even get myself to say those numbers out loud because it makes all of our hearts drop. We're like, what?
Is it over 7 figures or not?
Let my tell the answer. I think you can read between the lines for some players.
This is terrible.
Is it over 7 figures or not? Okay, so it is. I think that means
there you go.
All right, Benny.
You can read the room.
Since you're going to be the moderator, I'm sure they'll throw jokes at you. But what are the two big? What's like the biggest question, or what do you think fans are going to appreciate the most? Where are you going to start when you sit down on that podium? What's going to be the starting point?
Well, typically, I might have to have a sit down with Bo Ryan and be like, "Hey, Coach, you're very long-winded. You remind me of Jason." No, I'm just kidding, Coach. It's not about you, Coach, and he'll be great. He's been awesome since the National Namesmith Hall of Fame, but I honestly just want to get those guys together because in all the group texts that we have, the stories are awesome, and there are some that I see that I'm like, I can't wait to get that to fans because when I think, like I mentioned, fans really love this team not just for who they were on the court, but who they were off the court, and this event will be after my bachelor party in June. So I'm going to be taking notes at my bachelor party just of those natural stories. So just the idea of getting them together, opening them up about things that I know I didn't know about that I'm learning about. Do you even know where Make 'em Believe came from? Because I don't. And I just think figuring out those sort of things that really bonded them together in a different way is going to be unique. And there's going to be some surprises. I will say that. I can't give these surprises of different people chiming in, maybe some videos, maybe some surprise guests, but it's going to be something that you can't miss. To get these guys 10 years later, some of them have kids, some of them work jobs, some of them are still playing. Frank Kaminsky was just in the G League last year, just got injured. Sam Decker overseas, Nigel Hayes overseas, Bronson Koenig no longer playing. Zach Showalter, who you had on, is now in the finance world. So just getting everyone together is when I say that, I know it's enough, and the plan of the run of show is to be determined, but I just want to get everyone together so they can relive one of the best times that Wisconsin fans have had over the last decade or so.
Is Showalter, or is it Aaron Maish or Matt Ferris? Who are the ones that are holdouts, like that are pushing for a bigger role in the event? Or I could see Shoei. He's going to get up there and do the belt, hopefully. What's the process been like on booking these guys?
That's the thing is there's a lot of more demands than I expected. I don't know if it's the NIL era and they're trying to get kickbacks. Yeah, they're trying to get kickbacks, but I mean, goodness gracious, the price tag on some of these guys to come to Madison is crazy. I just thought they wanted to be around each other. But yeah, Shoei. That's the thing is the belt happened after
it did.
After that, so I really want to focus on. I think what I want to know is what it was like in the hotel lobby after beating Kentucky.
Tausch was there
because Old T was there, and it seemed like one of those moments that like
so were 5,000 other people. That fire code was
broken, absolutely broken. And to hear the stories, and I know on Friday you guys had John Roach on to promote Howard Moore's Road at Night, a documentary with Howard Moore. Hearing Howard Moore and how excited he was after being let go as the head coach of the University of Illinois Chicago, and him being a Badger, and hearing the stories of him and how excited he was, like that team just touched every single person in the state in a different way. And I want to capture those stories that may not be known and how much it meant to each of the players, even though they did not lose or did not beat Duke, but we all got to watch Duke crumble on Saturday.
Benny, how much do you think, and going off of your own experiences, but how much do you think that group, while that great win against Kentucky, how much of it is more the disappointment of not getting it done and beating Duke?
That's a question that I think I got to write down because I can't be the one to answer that. I wasn't in the locker room. Obviously, the goal was to win a national championship.
Yeah, but
I think
you're on a text string, and I mean,
the biggest crime to me is that in back-to-back years, it still feels like it didn't happen the right way, and that's sports. You know that, Old T, from different missed opportunities that you feel like was there. In 2014, we were up 2 with 7 seconds left, and Kentucky hadn't hit a 3 the entire game, and they can a 3 to go up 1. And UConn was a 7 seed that we were playing really good basketball and felt like we would have had a shot to win a national championship. And what's talked about a lot, I believe, in the 2015 Final Four championship against Duke was the refereeing. But if you look at the time and score, the Badgers were up 7 in the second half with about 8 minutes to go. You simulate that team being up with 7 minutes to go against anybody in the country. They're winning 90 times out of 100 in that scenario. That was a scenario in which they didn't. So I imagine it's painful, but I think the bigger thing is even though there's not a banner, and it's been since 1941 since the Wisconsin Badgers won a basketball championship, we're able to do this event because of who the people were and what the team meant. And I think that's what makes it exciting at the Orpheum on June 26th, 7 to 9 p.m., uwhoops2015.com to get your tickets. Maybe less groupthink up on that panel than there is on Kyle Brust-Nortman, but I'd love to talk about that as well because I was thinking about that over the weekend. I was off Thursday and Friday, and Old T saying there's some groupthink on Kyle Brust-Nortman, and I think I wrapped my arm around it.
You wrapped your arm around it?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I think I'm shocked too. And I'm going to be asking Kyle Wallace today because part of the way that Kyle Brust-Nortman was put together was we have the Packer backer. Kyle Wallace loves the Green Bay Packers. Jason knows this from doing Sunday Karma 10 to noon with Kyle producing with Craig Karmazin for however long Kyle has been forced to do that for free with Craig. And all of a sudden, I don't know if it was when Rob Domofsky joined you guys on Wilde and Tausch and pointed to how agents were saying that there's a lot of talk about the Packers being very active in free agency, and whether Rob meant to do this or not.
About that.
He mentioned some core position groups, wide receiver, defensive line, cornerback, and one was addressed to Nate Hobbs, and who knows what's going to happen with Jair Alexander. But I think wide receiver and defensive line were things that everyone got excited about when hearing that. And then when you go get an offensive lineman in Mr. Banks, I try not to call him
Mr.
Adam Banks, from the Mighty Ducks. I have to call him Mr. Banks, otherwise I'm going to call him Adam Banks from
Cake
Mighty
eater.
Ducks. Very good. That I think there was a shift in damn, everything that I thought I was going to get, I wasn't. And I tried telling him you have to temper your expectations in free agency with the Green Bay Packers, because just because they struck gold with McKinney and Jacobs, the last time they really went aggressive was 2019 with that haul that they got. And so he turned from the
except for getting your two best players last year. That was the last time.
I agree. And so I think there's an overall frustration of first-round picks, and I get that, but doesn't mean he hasn't hit picks. But a lot of the times when you're building a team, if you're able to hit first-round picks, they're going to make a stronger impact more likely than other guys or have the best opportunity to based off where they're drafted. So I think he's kind of shifting. I don't know if it's groupthink because I've pushed him that way, but I'm going to challenge him today. I'm going to, based off Mark Tauscher.
Challenge him.
Based off Mark
Tauscher,
I'm going to ask Kyle Wallace. I thought you were a Packer backer. What happened to you being the owner and going to owners' meetings and now you're anti-Goot? I got to figure out what's going on here. So I appreciate the challenge of groupthink from Wilde and Tausch.
All right, Ben, you guys can relitigate that on your show. I do want to just get your thoughts on this, or whether because it sounds like it might have been discussed in the text chain with you and all your former Badgers friends. San Diego State guard Nick Boyd, Portland 6'10" big man Austin Rapp, and the kid from Virginia, Andrew Rohde from Virginia. That's three pretty big additions in the transfer portal, something that did not operate this way.
It seems quick, too, doesn't it? Bam.
You have to move quick.
Scout this out for us, Benny. Is there a John Tonje type impact guy in this group? What are your expectations based on the early returns and opinions in your group text, not your group think?
A lot of excitement, but I will say this. There will never be another John Tonje. There won't. Based off what he got paid, based off the minimal production that he had being hurt, to do what he did, he might go down as one of the best values of a transfer in the history of the NCAA basketball if it stays at this current pace of no regulations, no cap, and whatnot. But that being said, I found it even more shocking, Jason and Tausch, that I had to see Nolan Winter say signed. It just was a weird premise that somebody on the Badgers was signing to stay on the Badgers. You know what I mean? He was
back.
on the it said signed. What do you mean signed? You mean you signed your
Jesse
new
break
big
that
deal?
on the jump around? Jesse was hosting his show the day before. I'm assuming with his journalistic chops, he got him to say that on his show, right?
Now he needs to go to the journalism school of Ben Brust before he can break news. But Nolan Winter signing back with the Badgers is just as important as bringing other guys. But I love the dynamic. You have a veteran point guard, which I thought was very much lacking with the Badgers last year. You have a guy from Wisconsin who mentioned growing up watching, and I found this funny, the, quote, Final Four team. And I was like, damn, he ain't going to remember me then. He remembers 2015, which is why I'm on the program. And then I don't know anything about the Portland guy, but, Gardo has shown that he's hit on transfers, whether it's worked out like with AJ Storr at the end of the year. He brought in a player who was able to then further their career. John Tonje, he brought in a player who was able to further them in their career. Kirk Penny has been amazing, changing the system. So now you have a place that if you're able to get three guys this quick, it's becoming a destination. The thing is, this is why it's important that on this made them believe. I got to do the past
now even
tense
you're
now.
doing it.
Yeah, it's hard. Made them believe.
My bad.
Is brought
You're
to you
only
by
the host.
M3 Insurance and Potosi Varsity Ale, because we all know it's a great initiative to give some NIL funds back. And when I think about that, you can get these guys quickly, but it's about the money right now. And I feel for Gardo. He's done a great job, but this is supposed to be time to relax, and the poor guy can't turn off his phone.
Benny, we will listen, maybe, to KBN later today. This was really fun. It was fun to have you on, buddy. We appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. UWHoops2015.com. We'll see you on June 26th at the Orpheum to relive one of the best teams in Wisconsin history.
Hey, Ben. I was going to do that. You can go.
All right, see ya.
I'll give Ben
I'm going to get Barry there.
So, again, if you haven't already checked it out, I hope Ben's visit with us makes you believe that you need to attend, made him believe. Again, June 26th, it's at the Orpheum in Madison. The tickets are available now. It is UWHoops2015.com. That's UWHoops2015.com, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the 2015 Wisconsin men's basketball team. Again, check out UWHoops2015.com. More
I
Wilde
would
and
say
Tausch.
for a vast majority of Badger fans,
it's more about
that
the
was
loss.
the best. No. The best fan experience in rooting for a team.
Yeah.
And that includes Packers. I think that team. No,
93
I think so.
Rose
I'm telling
Bowl.
you.
93
Yeah.
Rose Bowl team.
93 Rose Bowls, that's 3 decades ago, right? Isn't it?
Well, it was
30
93.
years.
Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is, like,
I'll say
you were
since
old
2000.
enough.
I'll say
Okay.
in the 25 years.
Okay.
Wisconsin sports fans, I think that will trump the Super Bowl in 2010 for a lot of sports fans in this state.
I'll think about that, and we'll talk more next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
The expectations for Badger basketball that I have to let go of was the Bo Ryan expectation.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
And that's not Greg Gard's fault. That's the NCAA's fault.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Shop Beauty Rest Black mattresses at Steinhoffels. The new Beauty Rest Black is only $42 per month when you use Steinhoffels 60-month financing only at Steinhoffels. Wisconsin men's basketball came a win shy of the Sweet 16, but Nolan Winter seeing positives from this season's ride. The sophomore forward on the memorable year during his appearance on the Jump Around Digital Show.
I had a blast, and I think most people would say this is one of the more enjoyable years that they've had playing basketball. Everyone kind of brought their own sense of humor and the sense of like just calmness, and we knew how to have fun in the locker room. To me, that was a big part of the season. And no, it was a blast. Every one of these dudes like brothers for life. That's what we always say. It was so much fun.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Get ready for the ultimate Saturday night at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Join us for the all-new Queen of Hearts drawing at 4, 6, 8, and 10 p.m. This is your chance for royal glory. When your name is drawn, choose the right card and you could win a life-changing jackpot, up to $150,000. The longer the Queen stays hidden, the bigger the jackpot grows. Let's Hard Rock with the Queen of Hearts only at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the belt line at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Outdoor Living Unlimited's showroom on Stoughton Road is absolutely a must-see. Nobody builds a better backyard better than Outdoor Living Unlimited. New deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, fire pit, and in-ground pool. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's leader in building the new deck, Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech decking installer. Looking for a backyard hardscape design? Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited's amazing Madison showroom. Visit our open house on Saturday, April 19th from 9 to 1 p.m. and meet the team, or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Madison's home of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Lillard lobs up top to Giannis. Whoa, what a play!
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
Underneath it, bump set, left side, powers it down. What a rally! And Wisconsin comes out on top.
And now, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Swinging a fly ball to left. It is back to the wall. Done! Churio, a grand slam.
This is Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. We're on the Packers.
You still want to see that steady play, that steady improvement, and you didn't get it from Jordan Love?
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
That just makes the stakes that much higher this season.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
We'll get back to the Packers during the 11 o'clock hour. But based on Ben's reluctance to directly answer questions about the amount of money being thrown around in college sports, Tausch, I think you and I are aligned that we believe that when the NCAA tournament, for example, March Madness, pulls in such huge numbers, we're talking billions in the TV realm and everything else, that players should be compensated. We don't disagree with that.
For sure.
But are you hopeful that what we've been talking about now for what seems like 3 or 4 years, going back to when Barry came on and said it's the Wild West, and then Gardo came on and said it's the Wild West, and now they're, I mean, you know, R.I.P. Val Kilmer, but they're tombstoning it over at Wisconsin. They've got to be part of the Wild West, too, to be able to compete. Are you hopeful that we'll have some framework at some point so it's not just Katie bar the door when it comes to how this is performed?
Yeah, it's going to have to, because what's happening now is not going to be sustainable for anybody, and I don't think it's good for – I mean, it's good for some players. I think it's actually, in the grand scheme, probably not.
I agree.
Development-wise. You know, A.J. Storr, good on him. He made a bunch of money going to Kansas, and obviously Wisconsin paid him. But is he going to be a big-time pro now? Did he have that opportunity because he kept bouncing around? I don't know.
Yeah.
But was his development where it could be had he, you know, been in a different system? I don't have the answer to that, but I know stability is an important piece to growth too. And right now there's none of that, and you're just bouncing around, and your talent is really what you're doing. I don't necessarily think that's going to be good for anybody. So, yes, I think at some point it has to. I just don't know when that point is going to be.
All right, we need to get to the 11 o'clock hour. Riley's going to be doing his Sports Center, so we'll do our Fantasy Focus podcast contest during the 11 o'clock hour. Tausch, we were on the road again Thursday to Ripon for a track meet, Friday to UW Stevens Point for a track meet. And you know where we were able to stop on both those road trips?
I bet I do.
Quick Trip.
Quick Trip, because Quick Trip gets it. Matter of fact, I went down, watched a little Badger football. I stopped at the Quick Trip on East Wash, ran into a couple fans of the show. It was great to see them, and they knew that I was getting a coffee, because that's what I love getting.
And
especially
potatoes.
In the mornings, a tasty bakery treat. All your go-to foods Quick Trip has, whether it's that ice cream right now, that 1.5 quart of ice cream for just $2.99. What a deal. And bananas and onions and baked potatoes. Oh, my, only 29 cents a pound. Today's Monday, $6.99 for that rotisserie whole chicken. Oh, baby. It's a little chilly out. You can get that big old bag of soup tomorrow, $6.99 for that. Quick Trip's got everything you need. It's on every visit. You can order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip. We'll see you next time. I got a nice little text that I was trying to figure out if I wanted to read from Quick Trip on Brewers baseball. You can get free tickets. So they got everything you're looking for. Quick Trip. We'll see you next time.
By the way, underrated, the mini tacos. That's my new go-to when I go. All right. We need to get to the 11 o'clock hour. I want you we got a question from Phil in Cedarburg. We didn't take his call because we had Benny for so long. But his question is interesting, and I think it's part of the problem with how we view what's going on in college athletics. We'll cover that and then skip back to the Packers to kick off the 11 o'clock hour, which will happen in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where Cheesy Bites Pizza is back right now. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Norton.
That's a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball on ESPN Madison. Don't miss a special radio broadcast of the spring match at the Fieldhouse on Wednesday, April 16th, featuring Wisconsin hosting Marquette, right here on Madison's home of Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball, 100.5 ESPN. If you went to bed early last night, you may have missed it, but the transfer portal never sleeps, and according to Ben Bruss, neither does Greg Gard, as at about 9:30 p.m. Sunday, Gardo and company landed another top recruit for the Badgers. This time around, it's Nick Boyd from San Diego State, who led the team in scoring and was an All-Mountain West selection last season for the Aztecs. And in baseball, the Brewers throttled the Reds 8-2 on the back of Jackson Churrio's 2-homer, 5 RBI day. And rookie pitcher Chad Patrick's sterling start, as aside from Freddie Peralta, every single planned starter for Milwaukee is on the IL, which may be why just about an hour ago the Brewers traded their number 7 prospect outfielder Yofri Rodriguez to the Red Sox for right-handed pitcher Quinn Priester, according to Adam McAlvey.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
So, did you get the same alert from your Quick Trip app that I did right in the middle of that read?
Yeah.
About the baseball tickets? Yeah, it flashed on my screen.
Yep.
It didn't distract you at all. I couldn't tell. Quick question from Phil before we get back to our Packers conversation. Riley, you took his call.
Yes, I did.
And what was his big question?
Well, Phil's still on the line. Would you like him to ask it?
Oh, I thought you hung up on him because you were done with him. No, let's let Phil ask it then. Hi, Phil. I thought you were gone. Good thing I didn't talk about you behind your back.
No, I'm omnipresent, Jason. Omnipresent.
Clearly. Yes, indeed. What's your question instead of having me relay it to our audience?
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm happy the players are getting paid all that, yummy money. But somehow this money is coming from somewhere, like it's getting diverted from some other entity, within the university or the sports department. Like, where is this money coming from, and what is getting hurt at these universities because of all this money going to the players now? Who's getting paid less? I guess that's the question. Who's getting less money now?
Phil, it's an excellent question, and to do to Tausch what he once did to me. Tausch! Where's this money coming from?
I don't know the answer to that. Isn't
that part of the problem?
Question. I think the issue is you have all this TV money coming in, and you've seen that we have, I think, 23 sports at the University of Wisconsin.
For now.
And I think the issue is going to be, where does that all shake itself out as you continue to budget? You're obviously out doing NIL and collective, and you're trying to find different and unique ways to bring in more revenue on the sponsorship side and on the donation side. But when you're talking about the amount of money that it costs to run big-time programs and you're paying big-time money to some of these players, I don't have the answer. And I don't know when and if we get those answers. But, yes, you don't – it's not just going to be, well, everything's going to continue to rise. No, there's going to be money that isn't going certain places. I don't have that answer. I am not smart enough to figure that piece of it out. I have ideas, but my guess is that you have to put in resources for those that are going to get resources back to you. That is football, that is volleyball, that is men's basketball, and then you have to. Everybody else is kind of scrambling to figure out how they can survive until all of this other stuff gets figured out.
Again, I want to believe, as I do with other.
Make them believe.
Yeah, I hope they make me believe that the non-revenue sports. I saw a story a couple weeks back where there's a movement, a feeling across the Big Ten, across the Power Four conferences, of only having 16 sports, which would mean 7 sports would be no longer existing at Wisconsin. Obviously, the track and field situation with the shell being demolished was not great. So I do wonder, and you know, when Barry Alvarez has been on, when Chris McIntosh has been on, I am a proponent of the so-called non-revenue sports. And once upon a time, volleyball was a non-revenue sport. And it certainly doesn't bring in as much money as football or men's basketball does. But you heard Chris McIntosh at the introduction of the new women's basketball coach say that they're going to devote roughly $1 million to their acquisition of players. That's a commitment there. And that money has to Phil's point, that all that money has to come from somewhere. But I hope that we are getting closer and closer to a day when those types of things are uniform across all schools in the conference and all schools in the Power Four. Tausch, last thing on this, and then we'll play some trivia and we'll circle back to the Packers later. Do you think, I always think of Blue Chips, right? And Matt Nover getting his big tractor and Shaq and Penny getting paid handsomely.
Boy, was that movie way ahead of its time.
It was. Yeah. Like, obviously that was all being paid illegally by the Booster fellow who is also in A Few Good Men and a few other films. He always plays a bad guy, though, it seems like, mostly. Do you think that once these rules are in place, that then there'll be other ways to cheat and work around them, and then the rules won't be meaningful? Because that's my one concern.
Yeah, but it'll be on a lesser scale. It'll be on a lesser scale. Yes, there'll be programs that find different ways to maneuver more cash in, but I think the playing field will be leveled enough that it won't. It will be. There's always going to be some programs that go a little further than maybe the other programs are willing to do. I'm not going to mention which team, but they might be in the state with 4 letters. That's just the price of doing business. So you try and figure out if you can make it as level as you can, and then it feels like you have a chance. And I think that's what everybody's hoping to try to get.
I think he meant Ohio State, but I'm not sure because there's other states that have 4 letters.
He meant Iowa. He meant the Drake football team.
I said a state that has 4 letters. I didn't say what. Yeah, so I think you can figure it out.
What other states have 4 letters? Iowa does. Ohio does.
Those are Big Ten states. It's a mystery.
They are.
Yeah. And I will say I have some good information from
who's your source?
An unnamed source that the Wisconsin wrestling team gets essentially no money. And I'm assuming that's the case for the vast majority of the Olympic sports here at the university. And it makes me very worried. One, wrestling's a sport that gets cut at a lot of big schools. And it just seems that we are significantly closer to not only wrestling, but a lot of other sports that have been very good traditionally here at Wisconsin getting cut than we ever are to getting baseball back or anything like that.
Utah. We forgot Utah. That's 4 letters. All right, we need to play trivia. Riley, what's today's category and what caller would you like?
It's a sports weekend recap, so obviously it's a Monday. And I like the number 7. I believe Duke, they're still at 6 national titles, correct, in men's basketball?
Hope we keep it that way.
Exactly. So they were prevented from getting their 7th by the Houston Cougars, so I want caller number 7.
Caller 7 right now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 7 plays Riley Yauk Trivia next, so stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Tracks.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV.
Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. If you're looking for a place where you can better yourself while having a wonderful atmosphere, you have it at the Princeton Club. Strong communities, strong body, and strong mind. All it takes is one small step to start today. You will see that you have everything you need in order to achieve all of your goals. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 8 Madison locations where you go in there, you take a tour, and you realize this is a place for me. Find more at PrincetonClub.net.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck & Honey's. Make your Easter celebration one to remember. Spring into this holiday season at Buck & Honey's. Their award-winning restaurant offering seasonal dishes, handcrafted cocktails, and exceptional service. As you gather with loved ones this spring, don't forget to plan ahead for Mother's Day. Treat mom to an unforgettable meal in a warm and inviting atmosphere. Celebrate great food and great company this Easter and Mother's Day. Make your reservation today at their locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Wanakee, or Mount Horeb. We'll see you at Buck & Honey's.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
It's time for trivia. But keep those dialing fingers ready because our ESPN Fantasy Focus Football Podcast contest is coming up next. But first, time for Riley Trivia. Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Brewer Bruce in Bayview. A lot of alliteration there. Hi,
Hey,
Bruce.
guys.
How are you today?
Yeah, a lot of B's there. I'm doing great.
Well, it appears that at least one question is Brewers related, so you got that going for you, which is nice. Tausch, it's a new week. I don't want to assume any non-involvement or involvement. How would you like to see trivia unfold?
All right, Bruce. With victories over Auburn and Duke, respectively, in the 2025 Men's Final Four, which two schools play tonight for the national championship? Boy, is that an easy question. Is it Kentucky and Texas Tech, Florida and Houston, or Platteville and Stout?
Well, I'm going to go with Florida against Houston.
Somebody
Nailed
mailed
it.
in that question, I can tell you that. Holy cats.
Riley, how do you feel about the degree of difficulty on your first question?
Very easy, and then I think it ramps up significantly for 2 and 3.
Okay. Well, Brewer Bruce will be the judge of that. Question 2, Bruce, is this. Yesterday afternoon, the Brewers defeated the Reds 8-2 to take 3 out of 4 games from Cincinnati. Dating back to last year, how many consecutive series have the Brewers now won against the Reds? Slightly more difficult.
Well, I believe I heard it on the telecast yesterday. I think it was 20.
Your choices are 3, 5, and 11.
Oh, sorry. Oh, never mind. I will go with 11.
Yeah, it's not 20, but 11 is correct. What is the? I haven't checked Wisconsin ESPN Wisconsin contest.com recently. If someone gives the wrong answer that is not among the options, the said player does get options, right?
Had he said 5 there, I think you'd have had to give him a horn.
I think you're right.
That's the tricky part of that.
That is tricky, risky, no upside really, other than
you're
the
showing
bragging
off.
rights. Yeah,
showing off a little bit. All right, let's start a perfect week off here. Saturday night, Giannis joined Wilt Chamberlain and which other legendary Bucks player as the only players in NBA history to record back-to-back games with 35 points, 15 boards, and 10 dimes? Is it Oscar Robertson, Lou Alcindor, or Sidney Moncrief?
Well, Sidney Moncrief is always one of my favorites, so I'm going to go with him.
Me too.
Bummer.
He's right there. Sid, Super Sid, right next to Robin Yount back there. Unfortunately, no Oscar Robertson, the correct answer. Oscar Robertson.
Well, he would have been my next guess.
Well, you only get one, and you didn't get the right one. So,
I know.
Bruce, you still got 2 out of 3. That means 3 of the possible 4 entries. And as a Brewers fan, other than everybody being on the IL except Freddie Peralta, things are looking up. So it's a good day for you, buddy. Thanks for playing. We appreciate you.
My arm still works if they need somebody.
How old are you, and what's your Social Security number?
Yeah, I'm a bit aged for that, but I could maybe get one batter.
Have you ever had Tommy John surgery?
No.
Do you think you could play second base for the Madison Mallards the way Jesse thinks he could for an inning?
Yes, I think I could.
As long as the ball's not hit to you?
Well, I mean, all depends on how far I have to move to catch that ball.
It's very fair. You got 3 entries, Bruce. Thanks for playing, buddy. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Jason. Take care.
Be good. That is Wilde and Tausch trivia. Riley, I think constructively.
Oh boy!
Here we go.
Asking who's playing in tonight's championship game was pretty easy.
Yep, I would agree.
That's all. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it might have been even. It would have been slightly harder if you'd have gone which 2 teams played in the national championship game for the women's bracket yesterday. Maybe somebody could have gotten that wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are we trying? What's the goal of Wilde and Tausch trivia here?
You got to earn it. You want people to earn it.
I think question 1 should be a 1 out of 2. It should be fun. It should be not. It should. I can't give you too much grief because I haven't written questions in a while.
Or
so
read them.
I get it, but yeah, that's. Huh?
Or read them.
What'd you say? It's been a while. That's fair.
But it was a change of pace today, that's for sure. All right, we need to get to Woe Riley, but before we can do Woe Riley, we need to take a caller for our latest giveaway heading into the draft, and that is the ESPN Fantasy Focus Football Podcast. Say that 3 times fast, or at least once. I've been saying it for about a week and a half now, but sometimes I flub it. The Fantasy Focus Football Podcast is coming to Green Bay on April 23rd. Field Yates, Daniel Dopp, Mike Clay, Liz Loza, and Stefania Bell are doing a live show at the Tundra Trio. ESPN Wisconsin wants to send you and a friend up to Green Bay to see the show happen live. So right now, caller number 7, Riley's favorite number, caller 7, at 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776, wins 2 tickets to ESPN's Fantasy Focus Football Live at the Tundra Trio. See the show up close, meet all the hosts, get complimentary food and beverages, and you'll also take home some swag, some Fantasy Focus Football Podcast merch. That's caller 7 right now, 844-770-3776. We'll get to Woe Riley after we get our winner. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
There are moments where it feels like you're close, but taken holistically, those look like blips.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
To win a championship, you have to consistently be that team.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand. This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, a place I've loved going back to the days when I was a kid participating in their legendary Book It program. Man, I loved Pizza Hut back then, and I love creating new Pizza Hut memories with my family now. And right now, Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For just $13.99, you can get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips. Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. That's a lot of ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Ready to dip into deliciousness? Well, hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. And remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut. ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yes, you heard me correctly. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including a design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Join me, Hunter Vaughn, and the Dean Dennis Summer Out this Saturday at 9 a.m. as we look back at the high school basketball season that was. Plus, we'll be joined by Chris Davis Jr. of Sun Prairie East. He was the leading scorer in the state the last 2 seasons, and he finished 5th on the state's all-time scoring list. Again, join me and the Dean this Saturday at 9 a.m. right here on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Professional volleyball is in full swing from here in Madison. Don't miss a second of the action. Cheer on Love Madison Volleyball as they make history with some of the best players in the world. Olympic medalists, NCAA All-Americans, and one of the most talented rookie classes ever. This is volleyball at its highest level. Experience the excitement yourself. Get your tickets today at lovb.com. Volleyball is the next major league.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde?
Yeah,
everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's #1 pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply and 4/30/2025.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 100.5 ESPN.
Lillard's going to tee up a 3, and he splashes it through for the left wing.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Bucks' win streak grows to 4 so far in the month of April after back-to-back wins over the weekend. First in Miami, a thriller against the Heat in overtime.
Steal, and they do get it away. Porter's going their way to Giannis. He takes flight. Flight 34, you are clear for takeoff as he flushes it through with a 2-hand jam. Puts the Bucks ahead by 2.
A 36-point triple-double for Giannis in the win there on Saturday. And on Sunday, it was Gary Trent Jr. leading the charge. 29 points for Trent Jr. in the 111-107 win on Sunday against the Pelicans. The Bucks now 10 games over 500 on the season. Next up, Tuesday night in Milwaukee against the Timberwolves.
This has been your Milwaukee Basketball Report on Madison's home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
I'm the most guaranteed person you can take.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
Is he a lockdown corner? Is he an elite receiving entity?
Round 1 begins Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Riley Yauk is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Tom in Waukesha was our winner for the Fantasy Focus Football Podcast event that we've got going on April 23rd up here in Green Bay at the Tundra Trio. It's starting to come together, Pepper. Looking more and more like the location of the draft. I saw the stuff going up.
You nervous still? I know Domofsky was nervous. Is Green Bay going to be up to the task?
So here's what I think, and I don't know if we'll have anecdotal complaints from big city slickers coming to our town and saying there's too long of a wait at Rustique Pizzeria for their dinner, whatever it might be. But I think I felt a lot better when someone told me that they're expecting 250,000 over the span of the draft as opposed to 775,000, which is what they had in Detroit. I felt like that would be a lot of people in our tiny little town. So, yes, I think it's going to look amazing. I think it's going to snow like it did this morning. Just like it doesn't stick to the pavement snow, but still get your dog wet when you walk her kind of snow, which I don't really like. But it'll be picturesque. It'll be brief. Then the sun will come out and it'll melt. It'll be beautiful. So, yeah, I'm not as nervous as I was.
Why only 250,000 people are coming?
That's the projection they gave.
I know, but why?
It was not a Q&A. It was information that I was given. Because, I'm big on the follow-up question. I think that's a good question. I'd be curious as to why that is, that they're expecting so few people.
I'd be disappointed if there's only 250,000 people come through. Hey, all this infrastructure and everything, let's load it up, baby. Let's go.
Well, wait a minute. What infrastructure?
Pile in those hotel rooms. What do you mean?
Well, we didn't build
tents and all
we didn't
this
build new
stuff up?
bridges. We didn't like the stage is. It's not really infrastructure. It's just temporary structure. They're gonna take it down after it's over. We're not getting like a new building out of the deal.
Okay. All right. Well, then I hope there's 40,000 people and you get to move around as much as you want.
I just want to be able to find parking.
I want the spectacle, man. Let's go.
You're a big spectacle guy. I think they will
in this case, yes.
I think they'll make Green Bay look good, like they do on game days. Now let's see if Riley Yauk can make himself look good with a much better Woe Riley than the recent Woe Nellies.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Woe Riley
on Wilde and Tausch.
Alrighty, guys. So, do you want to follow up on my Friday night first before I get into my questions? So, what do you want to know? I lost my debit card. It was stolen. I thought I just forgot it at one of the establishments we frequented, that I left it there, and oh well, I'll get it in the morning, or I'll go to my local credit union and get a new one. And I wake up and check my bank account. I did not just leave it there. There's over $250 in fraudulent purchases made by some unknown miscreant.
Did they? Miscreant is a great word, by the way. Did they? Is it empty?
No, thankfully.
So they must showed have some had restraint.
They must have had their fill, and then they were done. So
do you know how you lost it? Like when you say it was stolen, I'm picturing a pickpocket.
Potentially.
Bumping into you in the bar and pulling it out of your vest pocket in your 3-piece suit on your big date on Friday.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember. What was I wearing? Irrelevant. I was at the bar, and I was, I think, healthily intoxicated to the point of hilarity. Maybe not super. I wasn't blackout, that's for sure. So I buy my drink from the bar, and I'm signing, and a drink for my date, of course. And then I'm signing the receipt, and I believe I either missed the exchange. The bartender either set it down on the table and I missed it, or when I wasn't looking and I was signing it, someone yoinked it while I was enamored signing or talking to my date, and then it was gone. So that was the last time I saw my card.
Is there any thought that your date maybe took it?
Probably not, given that we left at the same time and there were several purchases made afterwards.
Okay.
That'd be impressive.
That's a good sign,
good
then. That's a
investigative
good
work.
sign.
Yeah. It'd be impressive if she did take it, though.
So here's a question that I think is important, though. Was this the last purchase that you made of the date? Because this could have been, like, if you guys, let's say this was before dinner and you went out for a drink first, then you get to dinner and you're on. Was this a first date or an early in the process date?
Yep. First date.
First date, and then suddenly I don't have my debit card to pay for my, I guess ice cream, because that's the only thing we give free advertising to. I don't have my
Light,
debit.
lots of Coors Light.
And well, that's not free. But had you gone out to dinner and had to pay for dinner, you would have realized, I don't have my debit card. So when did you realize you didn't have it?
It was once we left the establishment. I checked. I have one of these handy little phone wallets, which is very nice.
Not so handy if you don't use it.
No, apparently not. But I have a credit card in here as well, so I would have been fine. We would have figured it out.
Okay.
I would have survived. Also have Apple Pay.
I'm going to recommend maybe trying that instead next time.
Yeah, that might be smart.
So now you have canceled the card.
Yes. Yep.
Protecting your remaining money. Is this because you don't follow our advice and you don't have Associated Bank, you don't have UW Credit Union, who look out for you? Are you going to be refunded the money that was fraudulently taken from you, or are you know what, out of luck?
We're going to find out after the show. Once I upload everything and do all the post-show procedures, I'm going to call them, and we're going to figure it out. And if they don't, like I said, UW Credit Union better be ready. So I will be calling later.
Let's go.
I'm Riley Yelk, and I'm a UW Credit Union member because I was too stupid to join them until after I'd gotten robbed.
Exactly. Better late than never, as you said. I'll take
Indeed. Woe Riley.
Whoa, Nelly.
Okay, so I heard this conversation on Unsportsmanlike last week, and I brought it up on our Saturday Scramble show with Pablo Iglesias and Alex Gravatt. So it stemmed from the question a caller called in and asked if Michael Penix Jr. led the Falcons to...
Thanks for clarifying that the caller called in.
Yeah, they asked the question. If Michael Penix Jr. led the Falcons to a Super Bowl, would he pass Chipper Jones as the most legendary Atlanta sports figure? So in the same vein, flipping the sports, if, say, Jackson Churio or Christian Yelich, because he's already ingrained himself in the Wisconsin sports culture, brings the Brewers...
Why did someone call into the ESPN Wisconsin show and talk about Michael Penix and Chipper Jones?
No, this was...
And Atlanta sports fans.
This was...
They're big in Atlanta on Saturday.
You missed the first sentence. It was from Unsportsmanlike. It was a call into Unsportsmanlike.
I thought Blooper called in and was talking to Pablo and Gravy.
We got to get him. Him and Big Cat have some beef. Don't you know Big Cat? We can set that up.
Okay.
Set up the fight.
There you go.
So my question, if Jackson Churio, Christian Yelich brings the Brewers their first ever World Series, would they pass Aaron Rodgers in the pantheon of Wisconsin sports legends? Because he only has one Super Bowl, too.
No.
Would they pass Robin Yount and Paul Molitor and all the gang from 1982?
Yes.
Clearly.
Yep. But I want to compare athletes that have championships here. And given how many times Rodgers had the opportunity
in the pantheon of Wisconsin sports, has Giannis passed Aaron Rodgers?
Ooh, really good question.
I would argue yes, because of his loyalty to the state and the fact that he stayed with the Bucs. He's made it clear that he never wants to leave. He has all the individual accolades as well, and brought the Bucs their first championship in 50 years? So,
all right. How about Giannis or Brett Favre?
Same deal. I'd say yeah. If Favre had two, I think the championships are the separator here, and since neither Brett Favre nor Aaron Rodgers has two,
I think so too. And I also think we should Natasha Bedingfield this, because I want to believe that Giannis will spend his entire career in Milwaukee. I do. I've never heard a discouraging word about him, right? But I don't think we can just because we want him to stay, and we as Wisconsinites are always fearing the abandonment of our great players going on to somewhere else. I think we have to keep in mind that it could get to a point at some point with Giannis that he's like, no, I want another championship, and I don't see it happening here. And I love you guys, and I'll always be a Buck, and I'll always be a Milwaukeean, but I'm going to Golden State or whatever it ends up being. So I think that is still unwritten, much like any Brewer.
It won't matter. Giannis's legacy is secure here, and I would make an argument that if Giannis wants to do that and the Bucks can get a Paul George-like haul, 5 or 6 first-round picks, and a Shea SGA-type player, I would almost make an argument that Giannis is doing us a favor when he gets to be 32, 33 years old. I'm not. Giannis's legacy is dead set.
No,
here.
no,
If he
I'm not.
Leaves
I'm not
after
questioning
this
his
season.
legacy. I'm not. I'm saying.
What are you questioning?
Is he going to pass either of those Packers quarterbacks?
I think there's an argument that he has. It all depends on how big of a Bucs fan you are. We're predominantly Packers, and I think the Packers rule the roost. But Giannis is as close, if not higher, than anybody ever has done to a starting quarterback of a world championship team. There ain't anybody else that's even in that conversation. The fact that Giannis is, and you have it a very good argument, says everything you need to know that Giannis is special on special on special.
Woe Riley.
Whoa, Nelly.
Already back.
But Chipper Jones, I think Penix would pass Chipper Jones.
Wait, is Chipper Jones ahead of Greg Maddux?
That was some of the follow-ups that like Michelle Smallman and Evan Cohen asked as well. They couldn't figure out
and
who
are
was
the
the top
Packers
of
a
them.
legitimate Super Bowl contender right after that?
Exactly, and they said no. But anyways, back to my stupidity here for Woe Riley. My roommates and I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning just to play Mario Kart for an hour before we went to work,
that's
school,
not stupid.
jiu-jitsu, respectively.
That's not dumb.
Okay, thank you,
awesome.
Tausch. I appreciate that.
Yep.
So now I was going to phrase the question, what's the dumbest thing you've done simply for the sake of camaraderie? But if it's not dumb, what's the best thing you've done simply for the sake of camaraderie?
I think anytime you can get great camaraderie, that's why you get up and after a long night out, you'll get up and go golf at 7 a.m. when you want to sleep till 10. Why you'll get any great camaraderie deal is worth getting up for.
Camaraderie?
Camaraderie. Whatever.
Andy Roddick? Louis Riddick? How bad is the golf when you spend a night out drinking Coors Lights and then you get up that early?
The beauty, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
It can get bad. Yeah, it can be bad. For sure.
I'm not sure. So Mario Kart, does that fit the same bill as? Is that camaraderie enough?
I would for us.
Going golfing for 6 hours for 18
awesome.
holes?
Yeah, that's a lot easier on the body. Playing Mario Kart.
True. Our tired eyes at the start, it took a little bit to adjust all the twists and turns and the flashing lights, but after that we were good.
So we have now established that you go on dates and you have your debit card stolen, and then you get up bright and early after a long night of revelry and you play Mario Kart. What other things does young Riley Yauk do these days?
Is there a kids... Let's get a little update on this date now that you got your card figured out. Is there a second date coming?
It's in the works. It's in the works. We're planning on it.
What does that mean?
Does she listen to the show?
No, but I can send her the link.
Okay.
I think she would. I think she would listen to the segment. So we're planning. She's going to Florida. She's visiting some family down in Florida later in the week. So trying to plan a date before that.
How'd you meet her? One of those dating apps?
Yeah, we are on the dating apps, unfortunately. But I've had some good dates. Clearly, this one is going well. So it's not all bad. It's not all bad on the dating apps.
You just lost $250, though.
Well, hopefully, I'm counting on getting it back.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
We wish you nothing but the best as you continue. At what point, how many dates before you'd be willing to send a handwritten note?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Because that could scare them. That could scare her off, or it could accelerate the smitten-ocity that she might feel toward you.
Yeah, that could be a seal the deal type move. Maybe thinking like 3 or 4. In that range.
All right, well, we'll get an answer on this because she's going to listen to the segment, and then she can tell you, don't send me, that's too fast. Slow down there, big fella. Don't send me any handwritten notes. Or I'll be waiting patiently by my mailbox in Florida waiting for you to send me a note down there.
Guess we'll see. We'll see what transpires.
All right, well, we wish you luck, and we look forward to the many, many days off that Jesse still has scheduled so you can fill in and update us. That is Woe Riley. We will wrap up the show by circling back to our question, which I think was a really good conversation. I know we got sidetracked for a while there, but I've gotten a few more responses in the YouTube comments. Are the Packers a legit Super Bowl contender, and do you feel like they got better this offseason? If so, how much to this point? Draft's still coming. Talk about it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Welcome. The 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Madison Axe. Enjoy axe throwing, craft beers, bags, shuffleboarding, and more fun at Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Visit MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
Wisconsin men's basketball came a win shy of the Sweet 16, but Nolan Winter seeing positives from this season's ride. The sophomore forward on the memorable year during his appearance on the Jump Around Digital Show.
I had a blast, and I think most people would say this is one of the more enjoyable years that they've had playing basketball. Everyone kind of brought their own sense of humor and the sense of like just calmness, and we knew how to have fun in the locker room. To me, that was a big part of the season. And no, it was a blast. Every one of these dudes, like brothers for life. That's what we always say.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella windows. Get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. Metro Ford is also the home of the 2 years no-charge maintenance offer on new vehicle purchases, making it the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at MetroFordofMadison.com. That's MetroFordofMadison.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Hey football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets for the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone where you'll be taken care of like a first-round pick. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois. Age 21 years or older. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Your family's safety is your responsibility, and it starts with a solid roof. When the next storm rips through and takes some of your shingles with it, call Badgerland Exteriors. Or, looking to replace your whole roof but don't want to break the bank? Let the team at Badgerland Exteriors give you a free, no-obligations estimate.
AJ with Badgerland Exteriors here. Contracting made easy is more than a tagline. It's how we run our family business. Visit BadgerlandExteriors.com to get started on your next project. That's BadgerlandExteriors.com.
Professional volleyball is in full swing from here in Madison. Don't miss a second of the action. Cheer on Love Madison Volleyball as they make history with some of the best players in the world. Olympic medalists, NCAA All-Americans, and one of the most talented rookie classes ever. This is volleyball at its highest level. Experience the excitement yourself. Get your tickets today at lovb.com. Volleyball is the next major league.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Before we go, Tausch, I forgot to ask you about Kohler Services and our great partnership with them.
And we got a fun little contest that has been going on. And if you think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest. I haven't even checked any of the rules. I don't know what it is, but upload it to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yeah, you heard me right. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services. That includes design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower bath. If it's close enough, I'm going to come and demolish that bad boy.
Oh!
And installation of a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. Again, upload your photo by the end of April to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win. So you might think, oh, my shower's not bad. Put it up there. I've sent plenty of photos to Jesse that, whether it was over at the old Coliseum, whatnot, get to it, and maybe you'll see old T with one of those big old malls come hammering away at your old stinky shower. You're going to get a brand new Lugstone shower from our great partners at Kohler Services.
Sledgehammer. Do-do-do-do-do-do. All right. We don't have any more time to talk Packers, but a pressing question from Mike in Texas. Do guys still meet girls at bars anymore, or do they just meet on dating apps?
That's a great question.
It's a great question.
It is a good question. It's a mix of both for me. I think dating apps are more common, but I'd be lying if I said I haven't gotten some girls' numbers from the bar over the past couple months as well.
What about your buddies? You got all your buddies, you're playing Mario Kart together. Do most of them rely on the...
Well, most of them already have significant others, so they're not too worried about the fine young ladies at the bar.
So you're the one that's currently, as we like to say, wrestling unattached.
Yes, that is me.
Are they rooting for you?
Oh yeah. They make fun of me a lot. For
are
sure,
there significant others in any way getting involved with setups with like their girlfriends to meet you?
Not really at the moment. However, one of my roommates, who has a girlfriend right now, he is a nurse. So he is a male in a woman-dominated field. He might be working on something. You never know.
But just to be clear, you had a great first date in case she listens beyond Woe Riley.
Exactly.
You had a great first date. You're not looking for you're focused on date number 2 with our mystery girl who may or may not have stolen your debit card.
Exactly. You just can't take anything for granted these days, you know? You can't lock anything up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And we look forward to you reading on the air your handwritten note that you send to her in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
All right, that's it for us today. Thanks to Riley for stepping into the breach with Jesse unavailable, and we didn't give Jesse a hard time because he had a family thing today, so we look forward to his return tomorrow. Thanks to Ben Brust for stopping by again. It is made him believe. It is uwhoops2015.com for the website. If you want to buy tickets, it's June 26th at the Orpheum in Madison. And that's it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like